waiting for this moment for so long that you start getting anxious beforehand.
Welcome. Please take your ticket. Please drive inside.
So I don't know a lot about this person. I just know that he's willing to talk.
I've reported on black market surgeries overseas. But now, a series of suspicious deaths
Si ella murió allá en la clínica, ya nuestras vidas ya cambiaron.
have led me home to America, where young women are checking in for plastic surgery and never checking out.
A family is heartbroken.
A death investigation.
Another tragedy at a South Florida.
The patient died Thursday from complications.
From 29 to 35.
21-year-old Letitia Bynum.
Zenea Placenta.
Maria Valeria.
Died after undergoing the same procedure.
I followed a trail of money, sex, and blood. From the strip clubs of Atlanta to a strip mall clinic in Miami, and to these people whose claims of greed-driven managers and dangerous practices could destroy an entire industry.
Why hasn't anyone come out and spoken like you?
It's about the money. That's why we do it.
I'll just follow you.
About to have my bubble scenes with my men.
My journey to understand why so many young women are dying starts here, on the set of a music video.
So this is just a little part of the video.
Yeah.
And this one is called, the song
is called Hood.
Nicki Sweets is an up-and-coming hip-hop artist looking to leverage her social media following into global stardom.
The image that people want to see on TV is the curvaceous woman. The more curvaceous you are, the more attractive you are to the crowd that you're selling to. Like Nicki Minaj has the fattest ass, and she's like the biggest female artist.
10 years ago, Nicki didn't have the money for plastic surgery, so she paid a stranger for black market injections.
To get my ass done was only like $700.
Wow.
One of the worst experiences of my life. It was very painful because I was up the whole time. It was no numbing. It was just lay down, I'm gonna stick these needles and I'm gonna fill you up. And
What was it? What was
it was silicone. It was silicone injected into my ass at that time. Results were just like that.
Really? Like
Yeah.
the moment you
The
left?
moment it happened, I looked in the mirror and my ass was bigger.
Wow. Did you know what you were getting yourself into at the time? Did you know what it was going
No,
to feel
I mean,
like?
people
or-
told, it was so many girls that did it. Years later, I kept hearing about girls dying from it, and infections and stuff. To this day, I still get scared, like, am I gonna be next? You know, like, is something gonna happen to me next?
Like any black market, the trade in these illegal injections is driven by demand. And just like in drugs or guns, the transactions you hear about are the ones that go wrong.
35-year-old Waikisha Reed
She died after a silicone beauty injection.
Kelly Mayhew died after a procedure. 21-year-old Letitia Bynum suffered severe complications after buttock enhancement injection.
Behind every one of these fatalities is a pumper, a shadowy figure illegally injecting women with anything from medical silicone to furniture polish.
How many people do you think will be here tonight?
Every section is sold.
Really? It's sold out?
Yes.
And to find a pumper, I thought I'd start by seeking out women who rely on curves to make a living.
How long have you been waitressing here for?
Since we opened 2 years ago.
So it's going to be a big night. Huge.
My guide, Danisha Kidwell, has offered to take me on her rounds as she selects the dancers who'll work the floor tonight.
This is the dressing room.
Whoa, it's packed already. Oh, wow. Hi, how are you? Hi, how are you? Hi.
So these are the outfits that they can, if they don't come with an outfit, they have the option of buying one here from her. They just make sure that they're well taken care of for the night.
For sale. They can buy their stuff here.
Yes.
Competition to work here is fierce. Before any of these dancers are hired, they have to pass a body check.
So you can sit completely naked.
Those women selected will pay the club up to $400 to dance here, just for a single night.
Turn around. All the way. Okay.
Dancers jump through these hoops because the upside is enormous. Attention, opportunity, and a share of this. On a good night, a dancer can clear up to $10,000. All of which can make both legal cosmetic surgery and illegal procedures, like getting pumped, seem like a good idea.
All these women have big boobs and big butts, right?
Here they're taking in their waist, they're spreading out their hips and you know, really getting those big butts.
How many of the women that work here do you think have had plastic surgery or some sort of body modification?
It's in the 90% probably.
90%.
It's basically you're just walking into what you see on TV, pretty much.
And what you see on TV and social media is this. Celebrities and influencers with the kind of curves that are inspiring a generation of young women to buy the look with cosmetic surgery. In reality, changing the shape of women's bodies is not a new trend. Back in the 1890s, Austrian doctors first performed breast augmentations using injections of melted wax. And through the 1940s, Japanese sex workers were pumped with industrial silicone to increase their earning power with American GIs. In both cases, the risks taken by women proved disastrous.
They like that.
Are you happy with how your body looks now?
I am, but I'm gonna get a tune-up. I'm gonna get some things readjusted.
Yeah, I mean, you look beautiful. I don't think you need anything done.
Thank you, but I just, it's just me. So for me, if I look in the mirror, I want to feel confident. So that helps me out. And I feel like if my confidence level is up here, my money is up here.
Have you heard of women getting butt injections?
Yes.
Did you ever do that?
No comment.
Is that something that when women, if they get butt injections, they usually don't want to talk about it?
Yes. A lot of people don't want to talk about that.
Because it's not legal.
Right.
Do you know anyone who gives shots?
Gives them? No.
I mean, we would love to interview somebody who gives shots, and we wouldn't show their face, and we wouldn't disclose their identity. And we would just like to talk to them.
Like, if I knew who does them, I couldn't tell you who it is.
None of the women at the club would connect us to a pumper, and that's not a surprise. In this community, pumpers are underworld figures who carry status, cash, and guns.
I know a pumper. They came in and they had guns, and they made sure they put the guns right there so we can see them.
There's a wall of fear out there, and I'm hoping insiders and former clients will help me break through it.
Is she still injecting?
Yes, she is.
Do you think that, considering the fact that what she's doing is illegal, she will talk to us?
I know that a lot of them won't.
All I need is the right introduction.
How would you even go about here in Atlanta to look for a pumper?
There's no benefit interviewing with you. There's absolutely no benefit. It's not even worth it for them.
How much money do you think they're making?
Oh my goodness. Told me she made $1 million one year.
No way. So there's one very famous pumper here in Atlanta that we keep hearing about. And I was wondering if you think there's any way that we could connect with her.
I really think it's gonna be difficult.
As any journalist will tell you, the harder you work, the luckier you get. And after scouring the city for pumpers, I finally find a lead. So Jenny, we got your number here in Atlanta from somebody who said you've been injected before?
Yeah, I have.
And we've been looking for somebody that would talk to us.
So you want to talk to an injector?
An injector that would talk to us.
Yeah, I know someone. She's a transgender woman, and I think for her community, we need so much for, people that transition and want the feminine body that they can afford, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, Jenny, it would be great if you could reach out to her and see if we could talk. You can tell her we're just really interested in hearing her side of the story, why she does what she does.
The number goes for $250, so if you want it, you'd have to pay $250.
So wait, so is it common that people sell injectors' phone numbers?
It is common.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's complicated because we don't pay for interviews.
Okay. I'll have to get back to you. I have to ask her if she's okay with that first, and then I'll let you know.
Okay. When Jenny texts me back, the news is even better than I'd hoped for. So supposedly she's here already. Just have to figure out exactly where. Her contact, a legendary Atlanta pumper named Miss T, has agreed to a meeting. Hey, yeah, so we're here already, but I'm not sure where you are. Do you see me? Okay, is that you right here? Yeah, okay, I see. Yeah, okay, we'll follow you. Miss T is on her way to inject a client, and she's invited us to witness a motel room procedure that could land her 10 years in jail.
Okay.
Because when things go wrong in this business, people die.
You ready?
This is it. We have someone. Just make sure you don't put cameras up the car, you know? Don't want to make her nervous. Miss T has led us to a motel on the outskirts of Atlanta. She has set conditions for filming. She wants us to conceal her voice, her identity, and her location. At exactly 11 p.m., we're to meet her in room 306.
Take your body closer to you this way. Yeah, just this is fine.
Miss T has no formal medical training. What she's doing is dangerous, sometimes lethal.
She's very specific about her natural look, so she always likes to get a little at a time.
And can create health effects that linger for years. How many times have you done this before?
We'll see.
Amber is transgender, and these injections will be a final step in claiming a body she's been looking for her entire life. But you are aware of the risks?
Oh, definitely aware. Just don't care. This looks good. There's only 2 pokes. You ready?
Oh my God. Looks painful. Miss T tells me that she only uses medical-grade silicone, supplied to her illegally by an actual doctor. But in this underworld, a pumper's integrity is the only thing determining the quality and content of the material being pushed into the body. So what's that?
Well, I used a little bit of glue to keep the puncture mark closed so no dye from her panties or anything to get on it.
So that's it?
Yeah,
Wait, and now you just get dressed and you leave?
Yeah.
So the whole thing took about 15 minutes.
Yeah.
What would you say to people who would judge you and say she's doing this crazy procedure and it's so dangerous and people are dying and she must be really stupid to be doing this?
Well, I know I'm not stupid, so I just told people to kiss my ass. I should have used this body during the summertime. Now I'm gonna have to wait to show it off again.
Did you ever think that you'd be working in the underground?
Not in my wildest dreams. It started out in our community. The first people I seen it done were trans women. When I'm transitioned, doctors would look at you crazy if you came in saying you want implants. I was 19, I went to a doctor, and I heard just nurses and doctors laughing. I said, that's a guy. He said he wants an implant. They were just laughing. I said, well, go tell him no. Back then, it was harder for us to get stuff done.
Do you think that had an influence in you wanting to do cosmetic procedures on other people?
Yes.
How many people do you think you've injected?
Oh, wow, I can't even, hundreds.
What's the most amount of people you ever did in one day or one night?
About 40.
40 people? In one night?
Yes.
How much do you charge?
$1,000.
So you made about $40,000 that one day?
More than that day, yeah.
So it's super easy money,
Yeah,
but really risky too.
very risky. It's very, very risky, yes. Back in my 20s, I used to make so much money I didn't know what to do with it. But I have a different mindset about it now.
So what changed in you?
Well, one thing was getting robbed and killed, set up by a girl.
And this was somebody that you were going to inject and then they robbed you?
Tied me up, beat me with a gun. I guess it's the dark side of it.
Because you were carrying so much cash, did you ever carry a gun with you?
I don't want to answer that question.
Okay.
I was always in control of every situation I've been in, put it like that.
Knowing all the risks involved and knowing how there are people who have died, have you ever had any problems with anyone you've injected?
Thank God, none.
I don't doubt Miss T, but it's not like there are records kept of the negative effects, which can show up years later.
Very good.
You could call it the flip side of silicone pumping, or just another day at the office for Dr. Timothy Katzen.
This patient had a series of 3 sessions of injections, consisting of about 20 injections per side, starting about 10 years ago.
Up to 7 times a week, he tackles a job so dangerous that most plastic surgeons refuse to do it, removing the silicone from black market injections. For patients who'd been seeking a cheap beauty fix, this is where the dream comes to die. A warning, this is about to get very graphic.
See all this stuff? That's all silicone. Sometimes the silicone injectable will migrate. If it goes into your heart, you can have a heart attack. If it goes into your brain, you could have a stroke. All this silicone is just right at the surface trying to leak out.
Despite the dangers, every night, pumpers are out there pumping, selling curves that are pushed to us on social media. I'm not immune to these pressures either. Over the past couple of years, I've paid a doctor to inject acids and toxins into my face to make me look younger. Botox, a procedure that happens to be perfectly legal. The methods and products could not be more different, but the motivations are the same. After all, who doesn't want to look more attractive or feel more confident? The demand for plastic surgery cuts across all demographic lines, but all too often, the outcomes and risks of those procedures depend on how much the patient is able to pay. In one corner of America, the pressure for a perfect body has become so great that it's launched an entire medical tourism industry. Welcome to Miami, the new home of cheap plastic surgery, and to a string of suspicious deaths.
Cuando yo corro al room y vi que estaba ahí ella. Ya le vi a ella muerta.
Until recently, the high cost of plastic surgery meant that the only option for some patients seeking exaggerated curves were underground procedures, like the silicone shots I witnessed in Atlanta.
So this is where we've heard there's a couple of these surgery centers, which is sort of strange because you usually associate, plastic surgery to luxury.
Today, in strip malls on the west side of Miami, a new breed of legal outpatient clinics has emerged, offering layaway plans and rock-bottom prices.
There's a car arriving. Well, there's a couple of people waiting outside.
Many, if not most of the clients you see coming in and out of these clinics seem to be coming straight from the airport, with suitcases in tow.
So it's been 10 minutes since I've been sitting here. I've seen a bunch of women just go in and out. I mean, it had been described to us like a factory, and that's what it feels like right now.
Along with breast enhancements and tummy tucks, these centers offer a procedure that can provide even more dramatic results than silicone pumping. It's the fastest growing cosmetic surgery in America, the Brazilian butt lift. The BBL sounds simple. Suck out the fat from your stomach and thighs where you don't want it, and inject it into your hips and butt where you do.
This is done side.
Wow, what a difference.
We don't want to make it too big. We want to make it look classy.
In reality, it's the most dangerous operation in cosmetic surgery. Like silicone, if fat is injected in the wrong place, it can kill the patient almost instantly. Dr. Stanley Okoro, a board-certified plastic surgeon in Atlanta, trained 12 years to avoid these pitfalls. But the doctors in Miami's bargain clinics are often far less qualified.
In the United States of America, any medical doctor can do plastic surgery.
So a pediatrician could
That's
do plastic
correct.
surgery.
A pediatrician can do cosmetic surgery.
And these doctors that aren't plastic surgeons, how much training are they getting before they operate?
There are all kinds of weekend courses that these doctors can take in a hotel. It's like a cookbook. The problem is if you get into a problem and it's not in the cookbook.
What do you do then? Yeah.
You call 911.
Right.
An investigation is just beginning after a woman died following
Heather
plastic
Meadows
surgery.
died during a Brazilian butt lift.
Danae Plasencia died after undergoing
She's one
a
of more than a
Brazilian
dozen women who died after undergoing the same procedure in South Florida.
Hi. How are you? How are you? Good. I'm Mariana. So nice to meet you. Thank you so much for having me.
Mariana.
Oh, yes, you called Mariana also. Me llamo Mariana también.
¿Ah, sí?
Somos las dos Mariana.
Oh.
In 2016, Carolina Flores' sister, Maria Christian, saved up for a tummy tuck to hide the stretch marks from giving birth to her second child.
Mariana, ¿usted sabía que quería hacer cirugía? Que
Yo
María
lo
quería
supe
hacer.
en la noche, un día antes. Cuando llegué con mi esposo ahí, veo una ambulancia que estaba afuera. Estaba la doctora y el anestesiólogo. Y le digo, ¿qué pasó? Le digo, vengo a recoger a mi nieta. Y cuando yo corro al room, vi que estaba ahí ella. Ya le vi a ella muerta.
What clinic, what center did she go to?
Vanity. Before, I believe they were called Encore.
Siempre cambian el nombre. Hay alguien que fallece y le cambian el nombre.
El centro clínico.
Sí, ya le cambian. Si ya no es Vanity, ahora que es Jolie.
Sí, Jolie.
Y así.
Shortly after leaving, I received an email from Carolina, which contained this police report of her sister's death. It says that when EMS arrived at the clinic, they were denied access for at least 5 minutes. Why? What could possibly be more important than letting paramedics into that building?
Okay, so you see that one? I'm gonna try and go inside and see if I can get a consultation.
Here we are in Miami, in a typical strip mall.
Right. Yeah, not where you expect a medical facility to be at, right?
Absolutely.
These strip mall surgery centers in Miami are promising beauty on the cheap. But I want to know why their patients are dying in alarming numbers.
When did this all start, these clinics?
They started exploding in numbers 10 years ago, and it's just gotten bigger and bigger and bigger.
To hit the ground running, I'm piggybacking on the investigations of 3 people. Medical malpractice lawyer Andres Baragovich, who has launched a number of lawsuits against these clinics. Jerome Hill, a former cop and former investigator for the Florida Department of Health. And Florida State Senator Ana Terra Flores, who has passed a bill requiring stricter regulations.
This is something that has become a national problem.
They're giving me a crash course in a cottage industry that appears to be operating at the margins of the law.
What's the clientele? Who are the people coming to these centers?
These are people from across the country that are being, I would say, preyed upon. We'll have hospital executives that'll tell us, oh yeah, you know, we have a couple of patients a week that come in from that plastic surgery place, but we can't do anything about it.
We're gonna go in here and see a particular problematic surgery center that has given the state, and more importantly, the citizens of Florida, some consternation.
That one over there?
Yeah.
Oh, Jolie?
Yes.
Jolie, the clinic formerly known as Vanity, where Maria Christian died. After the incident, the clinic issued a statement claiming they followed standard procedures. But a pending malpractice lawsuit against Vanity and Maria's doctor alleges otherwise. And Maria's death is not a standalone incident.
So how many deaths have happened here?
Jolie Center and their affiliate has had 8 deaths right now.
Just in 6 years?
That's astronomical.
That's right. 8 deaths between 2013 and 2018 have been linked to this clinic, which operated first as Encore, then as Vanity, and now as Jolie. Local media reports that nearly a dozen other women have also suffered serious injuries.
When there's too much heat, they just close, then reopen. Same location. It's crazy.
A 2019 expose by the Naples Daily News and USA Today had this to say about the deaths, name changes, and the clinic's de facto owner, Ismael Labrador. 7 of the women who died were working-class Hispanics and African Americans, groups targeted by the clinic's advertising campaigns. While deaths and injuries mounted, the names of the clinics were changed 3 times since 2016. But one person has remained at the center, Dr. Ismael Labrador. To get a sense of how Labrador operates, we conducted a records request from the state's Department of Health. What we learn is that although the clinic changed names over the years, from Vanidades to Encore, to Vanity to Eris, to Jolie Plastic Surgery, many of the surgeons and some of the staff stayed the same. Even the human resources rep who registered the staff and the surgeons with the Department of Health remained the same, though her email address changed frequently over the years. And Labrador is not the only clinic operator who has come under scrutiny. USA Today reported that at least 13 women have died at 4 other Florida plastic surgery centers.
How difficult do you think it is to find somebody sort of working inside these clinics to talk to us about what the reality is inside?
I think you're going to find it very difficult.
A toxic stew is brewing here, with lax regulations, dangerous practices, and untold millions to be made. The more I learn, the less I'm surprised by the growing list of fatalities.
Okay, so you see that one? I'm gonna try and go inside and see if I can get a consultation. Unfortunately, we're not allowed to go in with cameras. It's against the law in Florida.
According to a USA Today and Naples Daily News investigation, the Florida Health Department has investigated at least 6 deaths and serious injuries at Labrador's clinics, many of which were avoidable and the result of mistakes. In 4 of the BBL fatalities at Labrador clinics, USA Today reported that doctors injected fat in the wrong place, killing their patients within minutes. We tried to reach the Florida Department of Health for a comment, and yet, after months of emails, calls, and many unanswered voicemails, they said they were unable to comment because of confidentiality. So perhaps it's not surprising that little has been done despite the fatalities.
So they actually said that everything is done over the phone.
Hello?
Better. How are you doing?
Very well. Yourself?
Good. I have a few questions for you about BBLs. Do you mind if I record this?
Yeah, go ahead. So which doctor are you looking into?
Who does the cheapest procedure there? This is the cheapest BBL.
The cheapest? Right now it's Dr. and both at 3,500.
I'm not really sure. I've heard good things about Dr.
Yeah, he's one of the leading doctors here as far as demand goes. Dr. has his BBLs right now at 5,700.
5,700. And how many procedures does Dr. do on average a day, just so I get a sense of his experience?
On average a day, roughly I think about 6 to 8.
Wow, that's a lot.
Yep, that's the limit for procedures in a day for a doctor.
Wow. Okay, sounds good.
Actually, if they're talking about 6 to 8 BBLs a day, it sounds anything but good. I checked with a handful of experts, including Dr. Okoro, the board-certified plastic surgeon in Atlanta, who all say that 3 to 4 BBLs is the maximum number a plastic surgeon could safely do in one day. So how could anyone handle a caseload double the size? Other sources we spoke with said it wasn't unusual for surgeons at Jolie, or previously at Encore and Vanity, to schedule as many as 10 BBLs a day.
Finally, we actually got somebody willing to talk to us.
A search for former employees leads me to Gina Hitchens, who worked at Jolie as a surgical coordinator. She has promised to meet me, though she's warned us that she still works in the industry and needs to choose her words carefully.
Have you ever been there in one of these cases where things went terribly wrong?
Bottles and models, Lil' mama look vicious. I'ma hit like a throttle, she make it drop like the switches. I won't see her tomorrow.
So Gina, tell me how you first heard about these clinics.
I started working at Jolie Plastic Surgery, and that was my first step into the plastic surgery world.
How many clinics have you worked at?
4.
Have you ever been there in one of these cases where things went terribly wrong?
Yes, but I can't talk about it.
More than once?
No.
Was it a death?
I'm not able to speak about it.
Is a doctor actually capable of performing 8 procedures in a day?
I think once you start getting into the high numbers is when you start looking for problems, or problems start looking for you.
So why are they doing so many procedures a day?
Yeah, I don't know that that's a question I want to answer.
But do you think a doctor is capable of operating and doing 8 BBLs a day?
They do it.
How long does a BBL take?
The average BBL would probably be 3.5 to 4 hours.
Of course, a surgeon wouldn't need to be in the room the entire time. But from our research, the two main procedures in a BBL, liposuction and fat transfer, take between 2 and 3 hours. So a surgeon doing 8 BBLs in a day would be facing 16 to 24 hours of surgery.
I guess the math then just doesn't add up. So it's impossible for a doctor to be performing 8 of these a day.
Nothing is impossible.
So pretty.
It's like a little oasis.
With business booming at these clinics, lawyer Andres Boregovich, who's launched a number of cases against these clinics, wants to give me a sense of just how much money these clinic owners are making.
Oh, look at that. Guy on a horse.
I'm most interested in one man in particular, Dr. Ismael Labrador, the reported owner and operator of Jolie and other cosmetic surgery centers.
What is this?
These are stables, part of an equestrian center owned by Ismael Labrador and his wife. It just goes to show you the significance of the money that's generated by these surgery centers. They're cash cows.
In 2007, Dr. Labrador was arrested on felony charges for allowing unlicensed workers to perform medical procedures. The felony charges were dropped after he entered a court diversion program, and he went on to start a string of discount plastic surgery centers. Here he is in a 2018 deposition for a case where a woman was injured during a procedure at one of his clinics, a lawsuit that has since been settled.
Specifically, what administrative tasks did you have control over?
El horario, el salario.
The hours, the salary.
Las cualificaciones de los empleados.
The employees' qualifications.
In past written statements, Labrador has said doctors, not clinic owners, are responsible for patient care, and that all the doctors he's hired have met the requirements of the state licensing board. He's also claimed that the frequent name changes at his clinics were made for marketing purposes, not to avoid legal responsibility. We reached out to him for comment. He denied being the owner of Jolie and responded with a request for $25,000 to sit for an interview. And that's when we found a new source.
So I don't know a lot about this person. I just know that he's willing to talk. He's very, very nervous and anxious and super worried about not revealing his identity.
I'm hoping he'll be able to help me unravel the inner workings of these discount surgery clinics.
I think he's here. I think that's him. Yeah, it's definitely him. So, thanks for meeting us.
To protect the identity of Juan Carlos, there's little I can say about him, other than he has spent time working at Jolie and a number of other clinics, which we have verified.
We've been trying for months and months and months to try to get somebody to talk to us, so I really appreciate this.
Reluctantly, I'm here.
Reluctantly, but you accepted. Why did you accept?
I think morally we have to do this. People deserve to know what's going on.
What exactly happens in these places?
Where do I start? Essentially, if you're pumping out 10 to 12 cases a day, it's impossible for you to meet your patients pre-op, post-op, and day of surgery.
10 to 12 patients per day per doctor, per surgeon?
Per surgeon.
As a surgical coordinator, Juan Carlos was in charge of scheduling these surgeries for a handful of doctors. Although he worked in the admin offices upstairs, He said he made daily trips to the operating rooms downstairs and routinely saw surgeons running multiple operating rooms at the same time. That meant that they weren't on hand for the entirety of the procedures. If that's true, then logically it must mean that the operating room assistants, called surgical techs, are doing at least part of these procedures. Juan Carlos brought videos he claims to have captured on his phone that seemed to show just that. Due to patient privacy, Juan Carlos would not allow us to share the footage. Though we can't independently confirm the authenticity of the videos, in one of them, the staff uniforms clearly say Jolie.
What's happening here?
So he's not a doctor.
And then what happens if something, if one of the surgeries gets, complicated?
Things go wrong.
In considering the amount of deaths, why hasn't anyone come out and spoken, like you?
At the end of the day, it's about the money. That's why we do it.
But you felt some sort of guilt, right? Or else you wouldn't be here now. Or remorse, or...
I think the patients just need to understand, it's a factory. And nobody gives a about you.
Nobody gives a about you, patients. The deeper I dug into this world, nothing felt more honest than that statement. I presented Jolie's de facto owner, Ismael Labrador, with Juan Carlos' claims. Through his lawyer, he denied that surgical techs are performing the surgeries and has threatened legal action. It took me 6 months to track down a former employee willing to speak on camera.
I mean, there's a lot of people that know about it and are afraid to speak, and I'm not one of them. They can come find me for all I care.
Kayla worked as a medical assistant at Labrador's clinic when it was called Vanity and Encore, but before it was named Jolie.
How long were you there for?
2 years.
What kind of patients did you guys see there?
We would have patients from everywhere that would come in, obviously because of this affordable pricing. They were coming out of the state, coming from another country. Yeah, it was a variety of patients.
And once those patients went in for surgery, what Kayla describes fits a similar pattern of behavior that we heard from Juan Carlos, as well as multiple others who worked at Labrador's clinics and spoke to us off the record. Doctors running multiple operating rooms and not being present for portions of risky operations.
There's more than one operating room for sure. There was multiple surgeries happening at once. We had at least 5 to 6 operating rooms.
Florida law requires that anyone assisting or participating in any surgical procedure must have, quote, direct and immediate supervision of a licensed physician. So would a surgeon overseeing multiple operating rooms qualify as direct and immediate supervision? I called former Department of Health Inspector Jerome Hill to ask him this very question. He believes the current law gives these clinics too much wiggle room.
Given the fact that you can have some type of medical procedure in one room and the supervision is in another room 2 doors down, it is a stretch. It is the latitude that they give the medical doctors here in Florida that is so gross, it leaves an opening for malpractice by these doctors, and it puts, more importantly, the citizens of Florida in jeopardy.
3 board-certified doctors we spoke with all agree that from a medical perspective, a surgeon must be in the room the entire procedure in order to ensure a patient's safety. Anything less than that, especially with a procedure like a BBL, is unusual and undoubtedly dangerous. The picture of this industry painted by the many people we spoke with is grim, which means that unless regulators step in or society stops pressuring women to chase those perfect curves, these tragedies are likely to continue.
It's about how much money we can make, how fast.
I mean, it's not even about the patient's life anymore, right?
No. And patients' lives are being played with. Love.
This heart has
He was my life outside of work.
Everything he said was just so sweet.
I just want to hug him and have him hold me. Like, I just want to hug him so bad.
Every single day he was saying something that would touch my heart.
I was like a fish. That hook was so far down in my belly.
He's an evil bastard. He is such an evil bastard.
I sold jewelry, I sold investments.
I gave him $2.8 million.
Romance scamming, a global crime wave that surged during our loneliest months of the pandemic, wiping out more than $300 million from American bank accounts in 2020.
Hello, baby. Can I have it?
To find out where some of that money went, we'll track down these tenacious sweet talkers halfway around the globe.
How much money has Michael sent you so far?
More than 10K.
More than $10,000.
And learn how they've perfected their insidious 1-2 punch. Before taking your money,
Sweet words.
they steal your heart.
It's all part of love. And sometimes love hurts.
So a right, guys?
Right.
Right. Yep. Okay.
Sun-drenched Florida. With all its wealth and retirees, it's what you might call a target-rich environment for romance scammers.
Okay. Do you want to put on your glasses just in case?
Oh, are we ready?
Okay, we're rolling.
I've never been married, but I've dated, and I just kind of felt like I wanted to finally meet somebody. After Lou died, I couldn't sleep well.
You know, after a divorce, you're feeling very lonely.
I thought, you know, if I'm gonna try marriage, I better get going because I'm 68 years old.
So I signed up on Facebook Dating, and a half hour after I signed up, I met Damien. He says he lives just the next city over. He's an orthopedic surgeon, and we're the same age.
He tells Susan he's on a 4-month UN peacekeeping mission in Yemen. From his photos, he's fit and slightly graying.
He's very handsome. He's very flirty. I thought, okay, I can flirt. This is fun. He tells me, I'm really extremely grateful for having you in my life. Spending time with me drowns out all of the other concerns and lights up my life.
Oh, wow.
Let's see.
Is this your journal that you kept
Yes.
all the conversations you had?
Yeah, I wrote everything down.
So you were keeping a journal of what you thought was a possible relationship that you were going to have with this
Right. My heart really was overtaking my brain completely. I thought about him constantly. Every time the little ding ding on Google Hangouts, I would grab my phone.
When Eric and I started writing, it filled up that hole. He listened to me. It was a great healing thing for me.
He was just so romantic. He'd write me love poems.
Every single day, he was filling that void in my heart. That was my broken heart.
He is completely and totally crazy about me and wants to be with me every single day. It's like, who doesn't want that?
But only 2 weeks later, she senses trouble.
I wake up Monday morning and there's no videos, no quotes, there's nothing. So I send him a message. I don't know why I haven't heard from you. I hope you're okay. And I have been stressing now the entire day. Is he alive? Is he dead? I don't know.
The following morning, Susan finally gets a message that begins with 6 crying emojis.
He said to me, we were under attack. There were guys that came into the compound. One guy was shot. I really want to get out of this place. I'm scared for my life. He then tells me some of his colleagues paid their contract off, and he said, I can pay him $30,000 and I can then go home. You know, you and I are a couple. We're in this together. He said, I thought if maybe you could pay half, he goes, that would be great.
It's so embarrassing, but it was close to $300,000.
$1,080,762.
$2.8 million.
More than 6,400 Americans say they were scammed after visiting dating websites.
The rise of romance scams and our increasing ease with online dating go hand in hand. More than 44 million Americans went on dating sites last year, giving scammers plenty to work with. But victims are also being targeted on social media.
A 69-year-old Sarasota woman will soon lose her house after falling victim to an online dating scam.
The median loss of a victim in 2020 was $2,500. But for victims 70 and older, it was nearly 10 grand. With arrests rare and recovering money practically unheard of, romance scammers operate with near impunity. But every so often, there's a high-profile bust that provides a window into this murky underworld. Earlier this year, in a case that's still pending, U.S. law enforcement charged 6 alleged ringleaders of a massive cybercriminal enterprise that included romance scamming, based in the West African country of Ghana. Ghana is booming. Its economy is one of the fastest growing in the world. Big name companies like Google and Twitter are planting headquarters here to take advantage of an English-speaking population that's young, tech-savvy, and ambitious. But those same traits have also made Ghana a hotbed for romance scammers. That's why I've come, to track them down and to understand how they've turned online seduction into a thriving criminal industry. One that's even made its way into the country's music scene.
Okay, recess.
What was the music video you're shooting here? What is it about?
Oh, it's a story about a lady who is very beautiful that kind of like uses her appearance to lure people online.
Meet Boss Bouncy, the man behind the song Ghana Scammer.
She'll make you fall too deep in love and kind of like dupe you and then take up your money.
So she's a gold digger and a scammer.
Yeah. It's not good.
Is scamming big in Ghana?
Oh, I think it's been in the news. It's been on the radio. It's been on online. So, yeah.
So would you be able to, you think, introduce us to some people that you know, or is that not something you feel comfortable with?
I don't think people will really feel comfortable telling you they know someone that's coming. That's the honest truth that I can tell you.
But before I leave, Boss Bouncy offers a little tip. He tells me when scammers get paid, they like to celebrate, have a few drinks.
Hi, good evening. Do you work here?
The clubs and pool halls of Accra, Ghana's capital,
Do you mind if I just go up the stairs and see, and then I'll come right down?
could be the perfect places to hear things that shouldn't be heard.
Okay, here's our guy. The guy that's gonna stop and tell me. Hi. Okay, so you're the man to know here.
I'm just going straight. I'm just pass you.
I know, and I practically stopped you.
After a bit of hustle, I finally meet a guy who says he can help.
I'll call one of the guys.
Awesome.
And then we see what we can do.
I'll text you.
Okay.
Later in the night, I get a message telling me to go to a certain address and to talk to the man playing pool.
Hi.
Hi.
So, I know you don't want me to call you by your real name, so what should we call you?
You can call me Odo.
Odo. Okay, what does that mean?
It means love.
Love?
Yeah.
So, you know why we're here.
Yeah.
Can you tell me a little bit what you do?
I do the romance camp, yeah.
So how many women have you scammed?
More than 22 men. I've scammed people from the States, people from Canada, people from Germany, Poland, Singapore.
Finally, I found a scammer.
What was your first fake name?
Morris Jackson.
Morris Jackson?
Yeah. I started way back, let me see, in the year 2008.
I'm in Accra, Ghana, one of the epicenters of romance scamming. This man, Odo, tells me he was introduced to scamming by a friend and instantly saw success.
I was talking to a white woman. She was from Canada. I wasn't using my real picture, I was using one model.
Pretending it was you?
Yeah, he's a very handsome guy. Any woman that would see that guy's picture will fall in love with him.
The story Odo faked is a favorite of romance scammers. Work sent him to Ghana, but since no one took American Express here, he couldn't buy anything and needed cash.
She'll be like, how much do you need? The moment she commits by sending money for the first time, that means she's a very good client.
Clients. That's what they call victims.
And so the first time you ever received money was $300?
$300, yeah.
From that Canadian?
Yeah.
And how much money do you think you've made from this?
More than $30,000 out of that.
Wow.
Yeah, we're chatting about 5 clients at the same time. It's all like a script, so I just copy and paste to them.
These are scripts that...
Yeah, scripts, yeah.
You buy them?
Yeah, I buy them.
These scripts are almost like choose-your-own-adventure books. Except the scammer chooses your adventure, the romantic plot you'll follow, based on the answers you give, and the type of person he thinks you are.
I wanted a person to travel with. He loved doing that. He wanted to show me the world.
He was going to be leaving for about a month to go to the Far East to move hardwood trees from Malaysia to India.
Normally when we start, I just have to pretend as if I'm from the States. But I will move in the next 2-3 weeks to West Africa. It will be like, that would be, you'll have to...
Are you okay?
Yeah.
Are you okay talking with people coming in?
He's taking a risk speaking with me. The wrong person listening could mean trouble.
Got a little nervous because there are people looking. I could see your eyes. You were nervous about who got in and what they're listening?
Yeah, it's those 2 guys that entered that I don't know. I'm putting so much risk into what I'm doing. I have a boss. He's a very rich person. He has a lot of boys working for him.
Really? And what, do you pay him a percentage of what you make?
The boys will go online, find clients. When they get to know you have good clients, they push it to him and then he look out.
Wow.
This is news to me. I'd assume romance scammers worked as lone wolves. But he tells me it's more like a pack, with an experienced boss who knows how to go in for the kill. He's like a finisher. He's the person that finishes. It's the finisher who often writes the scripts and takes over the transaction once their victim is ready to pay. Only a small percentage goes to frontline scammers like Odo.
Do you think I could meet a finisher?
They won't.
Why?
They won't. They will never do what I'm doing.
So you wouldn't be able to talk to your boss, to the finisher, about me, right? Because that would put you in danger.
Yeah.
Okay, so this person is still in the game. He's still scamming.
He's still in the game.
I'm driving with a local journalist who's been reporting on these scams for years. He's putting me in touch with a scammer he knows in Kumasi, about 150 miles from Accra. He says the dangers Odo mentioned are real. That's why he doesn't want his identity revealed.
If you talk about scamming in Ghana, it's huge. So any attempt by anyone to want to unravel anything, get insight, you could be putting your life at risk.
Tell me more about the person we're meeting.
Right, so he goes by the name of the Punisher.
The Punisher?
The Punisher. He has this one other person, he works with. He told me that there's a place that they actually rent out whenever they have to have a video with a client. He's quite secret in his dealings. They get worried, trying to protect their business.
I have no idea what to expect as I walk up the stairs of this upscale apartment building. But instead of the armed men and pat-down that I'm used to, I'm invited into a living room.
Sweetheart, I can see you. Oh, there you are.
Where it looks like a romance scam is in full swing.
So beautiful, thank you. Mwah.
He's gonna fix it.
Left on until 60 minutes ago.
Are you calling somebody? What if they answer?
Hey, sweetheart.
I'm in Ghana, watching two romance scammers at work. He calls himself the Punisher, and she is Miami Queen.
Mwah. I missed you.
And to my surprise, they're scamming men, not women.
How long has it been, baby? Been a while, right?
Yeah, I know. But I told you I had problems with my phone, so.
Okay. I understand. I still love you.
Sweetheart, let me go and take a shower, okay? I'll call you when I'm done, yeah? Don't go anywhere. Just wait for me. And we're done.
So what just happened here? You were started to call somebody, right?
Yeah.
And then when he accepts, if it's a video, you pass it on to her?
Yeah.
When you're communicating, he thinks he's communicating the whole time with her, but he's communicating with you.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're just...
Mine is just to look beautiful and make him feel sweet, how much I love him.
Most of romance scamming is messaging, just typing. But they've rented a space tonight for these occasional video calls, hoping to satisfy their clients.
How many people do you guys know that are scammers?
A whole lot of people. We have friends, scammers.
Like dozens, hundreds?
Dozens.
All your friends are doing it?
Yeah.
I have friends who are rich, very rich.
They've built houses, big cars.
Everybody's making money.
Wiring money, gift cards, or straight-up cash are preferred. But payment in Bitcoin is also becoming popular.
I'm a female. I'm using the profile of a female.
So you're pretending to be a woman and scamming
I'm
men?
pretending to be a woman.
It's easier to get money from men, he says. And there's simply more men using online dating sites. And yet, back in the States, far fewer men than women report being victims.
And this person you're talking to, Michael, has no idea that you're actually a man in Ghana.
Yes. I started falling in love with him. Not for intercourse or whatever it is, but, I felt for him.
Right.
Michael is a kind-hearted. I think Michael has been too good to me.
How much money has Michael sent you so far?
More than 10K.
More than $10,000. For what? What do you say?
Renting, apartments, school fees. Michael knows I'm schooling here in Ghana.
Wow.
Okay, so I do this.
Are you actually calling him?
Yes.
Where is he?
Virginia.
Oh.
So Michael is not online.
Oh, okay.
No dice. But had Michael picked up, he would have seen this video recording of a young woman.
This video will play when you answer the call.
But if you talk, it doesn't match.
She's not talking. You see, she's typing.
Oh my God, wow. So you have the video and then you're just typing?
Yes.
Where did you get this video?
You buy it online.
Oh, you buy it?
Yeah.
Like scripts, these videos are part of a scammer's professional toolkit, an underground industry unto itself.
Hey, baby. Hey, honey. Hey, sweetheart. I love you. Hi. I missed you.
I keep watching them through the night, but no money has come in, not even from Michael. So they say it's time to take it to the next level.
The scammer is not really moving. If you're not adding black magic, this is what I do. I print a picture of Michael and Michael's name and present it to the priest. The priest will use the picture to tune Michael's mind. That whatever I ask Michael, Michael has to provide it for me.
Black magic. The Punisher will take us to the woman who will put a love spell on Michael. One that will fill his heart and empty his wallet.
Nana, me script for Michael Honum. I am a man. See, maybe and some we need to carry any phone and a picture. At the account there, but send a bear waiting in Hojuma the island. Send a bear, the maybe send a waiting island.
They call her Nana, a title of high respect in the local language. She plays a vital role in a homegrown black magic-infused scamming culture called Sakawa. It links traditional West African rituals and blessings to the God-given fortunes of cyber fraud, the kind aimed at foreigners in far-off lands.
Akwaba, Maki no country beso.
Oh, US, Virginia, attachment boom, but an antonym to send it off.
Scammers like the Punisher are often called Sakawa boys, and today he really needs her powers to work.
Me be signed for 20K.
Now, so your friend was saying,
Edian Odi Nimidia, a friend Malisa.
The bosom ne kanyina obi do wa no ma wade said the chassis na me catch. Se me kwana Michael e was cambro e scanner apeni so me gia ma wo. Enu sa so a me for so Michael e ma na ko besia. E ma se pete on ko hye ne ho ahoma. What you say?
Yes.
So you think that now that you've met with the priests, you're going to receive the money?
Exactly. I'm going to receive the money. Not less than 2 weeks.
How much money have you made, you think, from scamming?
More than $20K, more than that. The black magic, you know, it works perfectly, yeah.
$20 grand is a lot of money, especially in Ghana. But it's pocket change compared to what some of the bigger operators are raking in. That's who I'm still trying to find. One of the alpha males of the scamming world. A figure known as the Finisher.
I think this is it. Yeah. So how a lot of these romance scams are now being done by sort of larger criminal networks. And one of the leaders of one of these groups has agreed to meet us.
The groundwork for this meeting started back a week ago. My local producer had been digging and connected with a man named Pussycat, who claimed to be a finisher. We first met him without cameras on a rooftop in Accra. He said little. I could tell he was skittish. I left dubious that we would hear from him again. But to my surprise, yesterday he called and gave us this address up the coast.
Hi, I'm the journalist. You said I could come and meet you at your crew?
You're supposed to prove to somebody that we are American.
Okay.
So you need a document, a driving license, passport. Kirikou here is the best for me to get anything I want.
Oh, wow. Does she actually exist? A real person?
No, she doesn't exist.
To my right is Kirikou, the master of forged documents. If a client wants proof of anything, he's the man to go to.
It's a girl with the gold. I need to prove that she's in Singapore with the gold.
To his right is Prince. He's the hunter.
You're the first person in this. You start looking on different dating sites.
Yeah?
His talent, choosing the right bait while casting the widest net. Because there's a lot of different fish in the sea.
I will give you a photo based on how I see you. If I see that you are intelligent, I will find a very smart photo to give you.
Then comes the impersonator. He goes by the name Shadow.
I make the calls.
Sort of like the actor, I guess.
Exactly, yeah.
Hey, hi, James. How are you?
That's his voice when he scams men.
All right, honey. Hold on, bye.
And finally, the guy who brought me here, Pussycat.
And what is yours then?
I'm the final striker,
It's like the finisher.
the finisher.
At last, the finisher.
You start the goal of it all, which is getting
Yes.
the money.
Yes, because I'm enlightened more on the kind of format I should be giving them.
Format, he says. It's another word for script.
Initially, we used to copy and paste them,
Right,
but it could be that the person has received the same format from somebody.
right.
I'm going to write so that it's going to differ.
So you don't need to copy and paste. You have it all in your
I
head.
have them here.
It's his long experience mining the psyche of clients that gives the finisher the insights to write these fake scenarios.
To know his ideology, to know how mature he is, and what I can do to let him understand that I'm real.
Whether you call them scripts or formats, they're the beating heart of the scam's multi-million-dollar industry.
As soon as you read the format, whatever I have in your account, you're going to pull it out.
You're that convincing?
Sure. Even you, if we want to scam you, we can do that.
You think so?
Yeah.
You know, sometimes we can talk to you for about 1 year without not asking you a dime.
We can even be sending you money.
We can be sending you money.
We can be buying you gifts, food
We
stamps.
buy gold and send it to you. So that will make you...
It's okay.
That's okay. What do you mean? You don't want him to say more?
Yes. Yeah.
Pussycat immediately cuts things off. But I get it. Small gifts might lure me to reciprocate with bigger gifts. And someday, maybe a cash loan.
This is how we do it.
Though they aren't willing to give out their formats, they let me listen in on a call.
In Texas?
Yeah.
And it's a man as well?
Yeah.
Yes, it's another male victim.
How old?
53.
I'm quickly realizing that targeting men is actually quite common here, even though we hear almost exclusively about female victims.
He mostly hunts for men. And we also have some hunters who are hunting for women.
They're all telling me the same thing. Not only do men have more money, they're much easier to fool.
Hello? Yeah, can you hear me? Hey, hi, Danny. How are you? How are you doing?
What can I see?
I have a little problem with my camera.
That sucks.
Yeah. Sorry, okay? Hey, what's up? I miss you.
But when are you coming out?
Okay, I'm gonna be up in like half an hour.
In a half hour, you're coming up. It'll take you an hour and a half to get here.
Asking you, when are you coming up?
When do you want me to come there?
A month ago.
Okay, I know, but you know, because of the coronavirus.
Oh, you have the virus now?
No. I don't have the virus personally, but it's in here in Africa.
Looks like someone has gone off script.
Hello?
When do you want me to come there?
A month ago.
Okay, I know, but you know, because of the coronavirus, it's in here in Africa.
Not in Africa, in the States.
I'm with a den of romance scammers in Ghana. They're working together to scam a man in Texas.
Hello?
But because they're juggling dozens of active clients, they briefly lose track of the script.
Hello? Can you hear me?
Hello?
Yeah, I'm here.
I would like to come over like this weekend, but I don't have enough gas in my car, and I had to use that little box she sent me to get some little medications.
All right.
Okay, bye for now.
Bye.
Love you.
I still don't understand how they explain their strange accents. But maybe they're right. Men looking for love are just easier to fool.
So in this format, it's an American girl willing to go see this person.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
is waiting for you and is sending you money to go and see him.
Yeah.
And what's his name?
His first name is James.
How much money has James sent?
$100.
$100. $100.
For gas. For gas. It's a new client.
And what does James think you look like?
Beautiful woman. I've been sending him videos too.
So it's not difficult to find photos and videos.
It is difficult because you may not know where to get them. And we are not going to tell you the sites you can get them.
Because that would ruin your business.
That is my strength. But I cannot do the graphic works. But Kirikou here is very good.
If you could have a job as an actual graphic designer, professional graphic designer, would you rather do that?
Yeah, that's what I want to do. But I have no job. I have nothing. I have a kid. I have a family. So working with a team, I get enough to take care of my family.
Volume, expertise, efficiency. Sure, they make mistakes.
Hello, baby. Can you hear me?
But with their strength in numbers, they can regroup, readjust, and scale up their romantic pursuits over and over and over again.
After he confessed, I felt so stupid. I had been a former Air Force intelligence officer. I had been a senior bank manager. I'd had legal training. I was running a company.
People say, don't send money to a stranger. Well, he wasn't a stranger by that point. This guy knew more about me than probably any man had ever known.
He texted me back one day and said, I'm a poor black man from Africa. My whole world just fell apart, completely shattered.
Hi, Ben.
Hi, Ben.
Hi, how's it going?
It's great. How are you?
I'm doing well.
Back in the States, I again meet up with Susan. She wants me to witness something she's been eager to do for quite some time.
Sounds like you've run into some questionable lovers.
She's enlisted the help of Ben Taylor, a scam buster who exposes many of their tricks on his popular YouTube channel.
Today we're going to talk about a scam that happens to you when you're online looking for someone to have a good time with.
He's part of a growing number of cyber vigilantes, disrupting the work of scammers. Some have been able to freeze assets, shut down their bank accounts, even hack into their computers.
So tell me a little bit about these folks that have reached out to you. How did it begin?
I signed up on Facebook Dating. I met Damien. After 2 weeks of chatting, he asked for $15,000 to help him get home.
Wow.
In fact, when I interviewed Susan before I left for Ghana, she told me that nearly every man she met online after Damien was also a scammer.
I met Ryan, and then I met Joe. And Joe and Kenny played their game very well. It's guy after guy after guy after guy. Probably 90% of them are fake.
Frustrated and fed up, she decided to fight back.
So you've talked to some of these gentlemen on the phone, is that right?
One calls me every morning and every evening. He thinks I'm going to go get $8,000 out of my bank and take it to the Bitcoin location.
Well, are you gonna do it?
I'm gonna pretend to do it.
Okay.
The scammer, named Paul, says he's working on an oil rig in the Gulf of Mexico.
I'm doing some reverse image searches to see if I can find this guy anywhere. I haven't found anything yet. Oh, hold on. I think I've just found something. First thing that pops up is a David Hoffman, who's a lifting supervisor.
So you think the real guy is called David Hoffman and that this guy is using that photo?
I'm thinking there's a guy in Northern Ireland who has no idea that somebody else is using his picture.
I would agree.
Okay, so maybe we can try to find out who this guy is and where he's from.
Okay, so I'm just off work.
He wants to talk on the phone.
Yeah, all right, 1 second.
I can't wait to hear this guy's voice.
Okay, all right, here we go. Hello, honey. Honey, are you there?
Hello, baby. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm better now. I'm talking to you. Listen, I'm getting ready to head to the bank, okay?
You know what you need to do, right?
I do. And honey, I forgot. Why did you need the money? I forgot.
Yeah. So I told you about the equipment for held by custom. So I have to pay the clearance fee. That's why.
Right.
Yeah. So when you see me, what are you going to do?
Well, my first reaction will be to run up and give you a big hug and kiss. Mwah.
Yeah, I've done that.
Honey, can you hold just a second?
I think you're muted.
We might be able to see exactly where he is, but we need him to click on a link. What if we tell him that you're withdrawing the money right now and you're on your way to the Bitcoin machine? We could probably send him the link to a location, like a gas station or something, where the Bitcoin machine is, and we can say, is this the place I need to go to deposit the money? And if he clicks on it, then I might have some information to give you.
Okay.
Okay, sent.
All right, now we all wait and pray that he's dumb enough to click on the link.
Oh my God. I'm sort of nervous, are you?
Yeah. I feel like he's gonna jump right out of it and grab us.
All right. I just got a click. Let's go ahead and tell him that you are getting the money now.
Okay, sent.
All right, now we all wait and pray that he's dumb enough to click on the link.
I'm sort of nervous, are you?
Yeah.
Right?
All right, I just got a click. He clicked it.
Both the FBI and the Secret Service can take on investigations, but rarely can they bring justice to American victims. That's why so many are turning to people like Ben, not only to search for their money, but with a craving to give these scammers a dose of their own medicine.
I've got all the information right here.
Are you ready?
Yes.
The scammer, named Paul, says he's working on an oil rig in the Gulf of Mexico.
The time zone in his phone is putting him in Accra, Ghana.
Wow.
Accra, Ghana, where the heck is that?
In West Africa, in Ghana.
According to a 2018 research paper, only Nigeria tops Ghana in housing the IP addresses of romance scammers. But since Ghana is only a seventh of Nigeria's population, one country is clearly punching above its weight.
All right, so I'm getting ready now to block him because we're done with him, right?
All we had was Paul's city, not his real name or address, or anything that might lead to an actual bust. But still, Susan is clearly enjoying Ben's help.
Oh, it's Lucas. Okay, we'll talk to Lucas. Hi, honey.
Hey, beautiful.
How are you?
I'm good. I just wanted to talk to you.
Aww.
Lots of criminals lie and steal, but a romance scammer's con is more intimate.
I love you, honey.
I love you too, sweetie.
Their payday depends on gaining the trust and affection of another human being.
I'll be waiting for you online.
I wonder if that leaves them more conflicted.
I love Michael. He's been so kind to me, since I met him.
I did believe the Punisher when he told me he'd fallen in love with his victim.
Do you think he'd be so sad if he'd found out that you were a man?
Yeah, everybody will feel sad if it happens to him or her, He might go through a lot to forget this, Maybe he might commit a suicide or something.
He didn't receive $20,000 from Michael, but they're still in an online relationship.
I just have to say this to be able to be free. It's something that I did that pains me so much. Anytime I think about it, I regret in doing it.
For Odo, seeing one of his victims evicted from her home actually made him leave the game.
I took $30,000 that she's using in paying her. It was a whole lie that I lied to her. It's a very sad thing. It's a very sad thing.
You have glasses on and we can't see very well, but I can. You're getting emotional talking about this?
Yeah. It pains me so much. Me remembering it pains me so much.
But Miami Queen sees no reason to feel remorse.
White people came to Africa when it was like Gold Coast, made us slaves and killed a whole lot of people.
It's a justification I've heard before.
So we feel like you guys owe us a lot.
Scams as reparations.
We need to survive. Africa needs to survive.
At the expense of other people's suffering.
Yes.
I wonder if you know how much harm you're actually inflicting on some of them. In our case, we interviewed mostly women. And now it's difficult for them to find other people, to trust other people. Some of people who lost millions of dollars.
I know all those kind of stories. It happens. It's not easy sleeping without food.
So it's easier to sleep with a guilty conscience than it is with an empty stomach.
Yeah, but everybody's finding a way to survive.
You will have to come here sometimes and help somebody get some fish. You go out and sell it to survive, else you won't eat the whole day.
Before I left Ghana, Pussycat wanted to show me a fishing village not far from where he grew up.
So what's the percentage of people, if they're born in a community like this, that they're able to get out of poverty?
It's very, 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 very minute. I mean, most of them are born here, they live here and they die here. Because there's no hope. When I come here, I see young girls and I've been telling them they should study hard. How do they buy those books? So sometimes we come and share books for them. These are potential national leaders. Hey. Yeah, so he wants to be a footballer.
A footballer.
If I ever bought a player, Cristiano Ronaldo.
Cristiano Ronaldo. That's a good choice. Portuguese.
He wants to be a banker.
He wants to be a banker.
Yes, he wants to do a banker.
No one grows up wanting to become a romance scammer. It's a decision made out of desperation.
Okay, a mechanical engineer.
Mechanical engineer.
Yeah, so you see, they have dreams.
But I also understand that people do what they have to do to survive and to provide for their families. That urge is universal. Maybe as universal as the search for love itself. California is the epicenter of a massive social experiment, legalized marijuana.
There's not many roads left to follow.
Supporters claimed it would rein in the world's largest marijuana black market, or crush it altogether. But 4 years in, no one could have predicted that legalization would have the opposite effects, energizing the illicit trade that's now 3 times larger than the legal one.
The black market for weed, it's exploding right now, man.
Go.
Drive anywhere in LA, and before long, I guarantee, you'll pass a weed shop. They're everywhere. The telltale green crosses of weed shops are now just as much a part of the landscape as the palm trees and taco trucks.
Ready? With the vodka and the machetes. Level the most like angels smoking dope.
But all is not what it seems.
Tell me some of the examples of people, you don't need to say names if you don't want to, but people that you've sold weed to.
Boy, a little bit of everybody, high and low. Homeless people, people that appear to be out of their mind, doctors, lawyers, rock stars, rap stars, you know, athletes. You know what I mean? Everybody knows about me.
Is that true?
Yeah.
What do they know you by?
Saying I'm the king at a $5 gram. I started $5 gram.
What's $5 gram?
That means that people can smoke on a budget. If you didn't have a lot of money, I would give you a gram of some, you know, fair weed for $5.
Is that still profitable for you, though?
If you get 1,000 of them in a week, it can make sense.
The man behind the wheel, Energy, is taking me to his dispensary in South LA.
Thank you, sir. Enjoy that. What's up, man? What you need? A gram?
You're weighing everything here?
Yes. These are $5.
Oh, it's the $5 gram.
It's $5 gram.
Due to the hefty taxes, as high as 45% in California, a gram of weed can set you back 15 to 20 bucks. So you might be wondering how Energy's dispensary can afford to sell weed at such rock-bottom prices. The answer is simple.
So the business you're running here is illegal?
Yeah, technically.
Get this. 4 years after California legalized marijuana in 2016, up to 80% of dispensaries in the state are just like Energy's, illegal. They're part of a bustling $9 billion black market that's blossomed in the wake of legalization. And I'm itching to understand how the state got it all so wrong.
When you think about illegal marijuana, you don't think about dispensaries. People think that they're all legal.
After it was legalized, the black market actually grew. Right now in California, there are more unlicensed dispensaries than licensed dispensaries.
And that's what you're going after today?
Correct.
Wow. There's another surveillance camera right above the door here.
Here's the thing about these underground shops.
Do you want to be licensed?
Yeah, why not? They just got so many hurdles.
Many of them want it to go legal, but the path to licensing is fraught with problems.
It's taxed like 3 or 4 times the amount that alcohol is taxed.
All of the hoops that you have to jump through. We won't have the capital, the licenses are too expensive.
It's an entrepreneur's worst nightmare. Someone like Energy faces a minefield of complex regulations. And above all, they need cash. Lots of cash. Often hundreds of thousands of dollars to pay for upfront costs, license fees, and rent for an unopened storefront. And good luck getting a loan, since virtually no banks will issue them while cannabis remains federally illegal. And guess who doesn't have access to that much capital?
You know, and just by our history in this country, I didn't think we had anything coming as a people. And I was right.
The same communities that were locked up the most for cannabis offenses are the ones getting locked out of the legal market.
They're saying that out of 187 dispensaries, only 3 of those people are black owners.
In all of LA?
Yeah.
Do you think that's why so many people just prefer to stay in the black market?
Yeah, because it's easier.
With so much money being made in marijuana, they aren't about to close up shop either.
Right now, the mission is basically serve the search warrant, seize all cannabis and all the ill-gotten gains.
So the state is going after them. And using a portion of the tax revenues from legal sales to bust many people who would love to be paying taxes.
You'll spend more money locking me up than I probably made.
While crackdowns from cops are on the rise.
Today, you guys busted 3 of these illegal dispensaries. How many more do you think there are out there?
Thousands.
Robberies and break-ins are rising too.
Armed and violent. Putting a gun to the neck of an employee, points the gun right in her face, grabbing several $1,000s worth of cash out of the till.
I've had a robbery attempts where I had to fight the guys off with a gun. I had people come through the ceiling, come through the walls, come through the doors.
That's why you have the surveillance cameras
Yeah.
here as well?
Yeah.
Suddenly, a man outside rushes in and opens fire. One woman is killed. A man is wounded.
We do the bulletproofing and the controlled access. I've been arm robbed, home invaded, burglarized.
Really?
I've been tied up, left naked.
No.
Zip tied. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, oh yeah.
What's crazy is that the chaos swirling around these dispensaries is just one of many unintended consequences of legalization. The legal supply chain is competing with a parallel universe of black market growers and distributors. So who are the players making all of this money, and how are they getting away with it? That's exactly what I want to know. One of the hotspots for growing marijuana is a place you'd least expect. The middle of the Mojave Desert.
How often do you guys do these raids?
Every week. We try and do between 3 and 12 search warrants a week.
Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah.
Criminals can't grow it fast enough to satisfy the high demand. Luckily for them, marijuana is, well, a weed. With the right know-how, you can grow it almost anywhere.
This is it?
This is it.
Okay, this is it, guys. Just be careful, slowly behind them if you can.
Hit it.
Sheriff's Department search warrant, demand entry. Sheriff's Department search warrant.
Go ahead.
Moving up.
Clear the truck. Clear.
Go. Sheriff's Department search warrant. Front to the rear.
Left center.
Wow, there's a lot of plants. It smells really strong smell. They're currently looking for people. They know that they're workers here, people actually living in the trailer.
No one here.
So you think they knew you guys were coming?
They may have seen us as we were driving in. We'll count the plants. We'll go in and cut them all down and load them up in our trailer. And then we're on to the next one.
And this is your typical day on the job?
This is a typical day. Yeah, we do this all day, every day.
Growing weed used to be a felony. It's now a misdemeanor with just a $500 fine. If you were risking it before legalization, there's less cause for concern now than ever before.
6 gardens in just this location alone, a street value of around $500,000.
It's created a new Wild West green rush for the 21st century. And everyone is scrambling to get a piece of the pie.
If you're successful at your marijuana grow, you stand to profit quite handsomely.
The underground supply chain works like this. Growers from all over the state cultivate weed for 3 to 4 months. Then it's harvested and brought to the market, where sellers meet buyers.
You would never know that that's a pound of weed.
We've been given a GPS location where we're going to meet some people. We don't have a lot of information, still not sure what we'll be given access to.
I'm heading to the weed cultivation epicenter in Northern California, an area that retains bragging rights for growing some of the world's best bud.
This is like such an idyllic, beautiful place, right? Not where you'd expect illegal stuff to be happening. Or maybe it is the perfect place, actually.
Out in these remote hills, it's anyone's guess what's waiting at the end of the road.
Okay, so now we just stop here and wait for somebody to come and pick us up. I would put cameras down.
I've been in this situation a lot over the years. Heading to meet a contact.
It's a pretty secluded spot.
With no idea what I'm walking into.
Check this out. It says, smile, you're on camera.
Whoever is at the end of the road tends to be packing heat.
Is it here?
Escorted by an armed entourage, and generally suspicious of our intentions.
I think this is our guy. Hi.
Good to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. Thanks for having us.
Buddy Powers.
But the big boss man waiting for me defies all these expectations.
Welcome, come on in.
So this is your property. It's beautiful.
It sure is. I'm lucky.
Buddy kicks off the grand tour, and at first glance, it hits every stoner cliche you could think of. Chill vibe, eccentric art, and of course, a true love of the ganja.
I have been growing my whole life since I was a teenager. You know, selling pot in high school, eights and stuff, but taking it seriously for the last 12 years.
Has anyone ever told you that you look exactly like a younger version of the dude from The Big Lebowski?
My whole entire life, yes.
First off, there's his grow inside the garage.
I have 148 plants, $360,000, I think.
$360,000 a year if you're lucky, just from this room alone.
Just from this room.
And out in the backyard.
Oh, wow.
Yep. There's a vibration, there's a frequency that we create that the plants receive. I tell all my employees that every tickle's a nickel. Touch as many branches as you can. Every time you touch them, you send them positive vibes, and that makes more money off of that plant.
Every tickle is a nickel.
Legalization was supposed to grant outlaw growers like Buddy a 5-year grace period to establish themselves before big companies could get licensed.
Were you excited when you found out that it was going to be legalized?
Not at all. I did not want it to be legal.
Why not?
It wasn't protecting people like me.
But the regulations undercut this with a loophole, allowing single growers to obtain multiple permits.
Big business came right in, bought up tons of property, and really took over the industry.
Smaller growers couldn't compete at that scale, so only a tiny fraction of the estimated 60,000 outlaw growers like Buddy have gone legal.
We were all upset at the way the law was written. We saw that it was just a corporate takeover. I spent $60,000 on lawyers and permits, only to find out there was more permits and more hoops to jump through that they didn't explain.
So the police could come in here right now and you would have no warning that they were coming?
Exactly.
Have they done that to you?
Oh, yeah. I got raided on a 100-acre property that I was expanding. Lost $250,000. I lost 60 pounds of pot. I've lost 5 pounds at a time, 10 pounds here.
Hasn't that made you think that maybe I should continue trying to become legal?
Not really. I pay my taxes. I just don't pay it to the IRS. When they take $250,000 from me and 60 pounds of pot, that's my tax I had to pay.
Of the 60,000 estimated outlaw growers like Buddy, only a tiny fraction have managed to get licensed. Many others have dropped out of the game entirely.
Goes out to you.
With demand for weed higher than it's ever been, dangerous criminals are rushing in to fill the void.
Do you think there will always be an illicit side of this business?
So everything in life, there's always going to be a shadow in the bright light.
There's one group of growers making even more money. A group that few people know about.
Good morning.
Good morning. So this is it, huh?
This is it. The curtain here, you're gonna leave it, and then behind that curtain, you're going to put plywood.
So the neighbors outside will see the curtains,
Exactly.
but in fact, this is all hidden.
Correct.
This could be any family's dream home.
You have water sources everywhere, so, you know, watering the plants with the water pump and timer will be ideal.
But some buyers have other intentions.
This is where the biggest grow will take place.
Tom Yu is a former gang detective with the LAPD. He's raided hundreds of homes, just like this one.
The biggest activities of organized crimes is indoor marijuana grows.
Here in California's pricey real estate market, criminals are shopping for homes exclusively to grow weed.
These groups of people, they don't want attention. Their goal is to make money.
And how much money can you make from an indoor grow like this?
2 or 3 million minimum.
A year?
Yeah.
Wow, that's a lot of money.
A lot of money, and the punishment is virtually none.
Lessened penalties have only emboldened growers to expand operations, and in return, caused law enforcement to expand their crackdowns.
Well, we got several complaints from neighbors about the smell of the marijuana. Our guys went out there, heard the humming from the equipment inside.
So you're pretty sure that there's an indoor marijuana grow in there?
Yeah, my guys have, they're very rarely wrong.
And in terms of the approach, anything we should be cautious about?
Grows have been getting hit with a lot of home invasion robberies, so a lot of the growers have started to arm themselves, so we always keep in the back of our mind that these guys could open fire, so.
Hence the body armor?
Hence the body armor.
This is police body cam footage of officers executing a search warrant on a suspected grow house in San Bernardino County, outside LA. One example of many, many others.
Please, stay where you are! Please!
All across California, authorities are busting multi-million-dollar marijuana grows.
Hundreds of plants, rooms are now greenhouses.
Right in the middle of residential neighborhoods.
On this street alone, the Sheriff's Department identified 7 problem houses.
What the community don't want to do is have a bunch of indoor marijuana grow in a community where the kids play outside.
They attract robberies, assaults.
We've seen murders, we've seen kidnappings arising from these type of indoor grows.
An average pot grow house draws an enormous amount of electricity.
Holes drilled in walls for impromptu electrical wiring and a bypass circuit breaker.
Enough to rack up an electric bill costing almost $100,000 a year. But these criminal groups have a workaround for that too. Using makeshift wiring, they bypass the home's electric meter, allowing them to draw power without being charged, and more importantly, without drawing attention.
They're paying less power here than what it would be in an apartment.
But even more surprising is who's growing all of this illegal weed.
We have 2 Asian suspects in custody. They're both from China.
Since legalization, the authorities have continued busting scores of grow houses, operated by Chinese syndicates.
Officers arrested 2 Chinese nationals at the home.
I would say 99.9% of all indoor grows are Chinese nationals or criminal enterprises.
The story involving drugs, guns, millions of dollars, and a rocket launcher.
We've seen everything from an AR-15 to AK-47s to your traditional semi-automatic, handguns.
They fly the workers over, put them up in a newly purchased home, and task them with growing weed until their debt is paid off.
They're working off almost indentured servitude.
And when the people at the bottom are busted, the top dogs simply move on to the next one.
Unfortunately, 90% of apprehensions do not involve the people on top. They're insulated.
Do you think these places will keep popping up?
100%. Your demand is higher in a post-legalized marijuana world. So where does the supply come from? It comes from dispensaries or these type of engagements?
The criminal underworld.
Correct.
Although the Chinese gangs are big players, I want to see how the biggest ones operate. I'm told the biggest black market growers are also not from the United States. They're the Mexican cartels, and they're growing in our national forests. You may think of the Mexican cartels as smuggling weed over the border. The truth is, they're planting it right here in American soil. Ironically, legalization has created a kind of safe haven for them to operate in California. We're heading to an area where cops are finding a lot of cartel grows, where land is free and abundant. Our national forests.
When you are near me.
They're literally just picking up and dropping 2 guys at a time into the field, into the mountains there.
Outdoor up there. Plants on the hill.
Nowadays, if you head out for a hike, you might just wander into a multi-million-dollar drug operation.
Not driving full, we're gonna put it good. Good. People don't bring their kids out here anymore because they ran into cartel members with guns and they just were fearful for their safety.
Oh, wow.
So with all these plants standing up under this cover is pretty much a little forest in here.
And who's coming out here and growing this?
All of the forest grows that I've encountered have all been Mexican nationals. I've never seen anyone other than Mexican nationals in the forest.
It's estimated that at least 40% of all of California's black market weed is growing on public lands just like this.
So you see this bottle right here, carbofuran, skull and crossbones. This has been banned in the United States because it's so toxic.
They leave in their wake a trail of environmental damage, dead animals, and toxic chemicals.
This is to stop the animals from eating the plants or destroying the
Yeah,
grow?
they'll mix that carbofuran into the water supply. And it's so toxic that about a quarter teaspoon will kill a black bear. So if we got a good dose of that, we're gonna die.
Even with all this stepped-up enforcement, the authorities are only able to eradicate 20% of the state's harvest.
This is a good vantage point to just look out over the valley and see all the different marijuana grows. One there, one right there, another back there.
Oh my God. They're not even trying to hide. Are they dangerous? Are they armed usually?
They are definitely armed. We've had hikers and hunters get guns pulled on them. We've had people get snatched up.
The raids have found growers that are heavily armed. A game warden got shot through both legs with an AK-47.
Don't move! Stay down!
Shocking twist in the murder of an El Dorado County Sheriff's deputy.
The massive amount of product and cash being generated by these operations has led to violence.
It's just getting really concerning and scary.
To say that the California laws that have been passed are going to be able to adequately deal with this situation is a fallacy.
The profits from illegal weed growing on our public lands is helping the cartels pay for all manner of sinister operations.
The single biggest source of the money for the guys with the horrific violence along the border on the Mexican side and on our side now are making it from marijuana.
No matter if it's Mexican cartels, Chinese home growers, or outlaws like Buddy, the most dangerous part of the game is the next link in the supply chain: distribution. When millions of dollars of product and cash are in the same location at the same time.
So do you think they're catering for the weed businesses around here?
Oh, for sure. The distro that I work out of, There's people selling hundreds of pounds a day in that one location.
I'm meeting a contact in an area that she says is the distribution epicenter of the state's multi-billion-dollar black market. Ironically, these few blocks in downtown LA, where it all goes down, is just around the corner from the Hall of Justice.
People that I meet all the time in the business are telling me that they have distros downtown.
Sarah's what you call a small fish. She works as a trimmer inside distribution warehouses in this area, some legal and some not. So we're hiding her identity.
We're gonna meet George, who is a big player in this industry. He has several distributions, moving millions of dollars a day of product.
That's right, $1 million a day. This is the big leagues. But even with so much on the line, her contact has agreed, reluctantly, to meet with me.
I know that you've been trying to help us get access to this world. How long have you been trying to convince him?
For about 2 months.
Has George made any requests in terms of what we can and cannot film?
Yeah, a pre-mixed vocal changer.
So not only does he want us to distort his voice once this episode airs, he also wants to distort his voice immediately.
Exactly.
That's the first time we've ever been asked to do that.
Yeah, people are scared in this industry. He just texted me. So we should go meet him right now.
Okay.
I'm scared a little bit myself.
This is sort of a distribution center for weed?
It's a meeting place for it, yeah. The way it works is there's sample pounds that get shown, and then the people who are buying look at the samples.
I found my way inside a distribution warehouse in LA, in an area considered the heart of the marijuana black market. One of the big players in that world, someone I'm told moves more than $1 million worth of product daily, has agreed to meet me. Well, kind of.
Okay, we ready?
Yep.
So I'm currently in an empty room and in front of a table with 9 pounds of all sorts of different kinds of weed. George, I'm just explaining what's happening to the cameras because it feels really weird that it's just me here, so I'm just explaining.
George didn't want his actual voice recorded.
George is actually out of view. Didn't feel comfortable being on camera, but he can hear me because of my mic.
So we're using a voice changer that alters it while he speaks.
If I were a buyer, I would come in here, you'd have all these bags out here with the different samples. They'd look at it, smell it, possibly try it, smoke it.
Some will smoke it, but it's really just, you know, based off the smell. Mainly the smell, then the look.
And then they place orders, is that it?
Yeah.
On the table is a variety of high-end, exotic indoor and outdoor weed. Each pound bag costs between $2,000 and $4,000.
What's the largest order you've ever received?
I mean, they'll go up to hundreds of pounds.
Just one order that size is worth around $1 million.
How much money is there to be made in illegal weed?
Endless. As of now, I shouldn't really be talking about this to someone like a camera.
I decide not to push it.
So, George, you operate just a black market business, or do you operate also a legal business?
License as well.
A license as well. If you were to give me a general sense of how much money you make with your legal versus your illegal business, what would you say?
Well, technically, I haven't made profit off my legal business yet.
Wow.
They try to kill you with fees, taxes, regulations, hoops to jump through, inspections. they go 10 times overboard than any other business. I wish for them to go to the same regulations to an alcohol company.
So why operate a legal business if you're not even making money out of that?
For the love of it. Why do artists like to paint, or why does a singer like to sing? I'm rolling with the punches now and just hanging in there so that big business doesn't just take all the original people out.
You know, you don't feel comfortable with even being in the same room. Why do you think there's so much fear and mistrust?
It's kind of ingrained in that culture. You can't really trust people, and that just comes with money and greed. And when people are greedy, bad things happen.
Do you carry a gun?
I have guns. Robberies happen left and right. In a situation, if you do have it, you really have no choice but to use it.
Okay, so I think we're close, guys. Getting people to talk to us has been insanely hard, but we got sent a location somewhere downtown where we're going to meet with someone, not entirely sure who yet.
Unlike George, who operates on both sides of the law, I'm told that this new contact runs a distribution warehouse that is 100% illegal. It's known as a trap house, and it's just a few blocks away.
Oh, here. Is it here?
But the only other information I'm given is where to meet him.
I mean, it looks like just a parking structure.
At first glance, there's nothing out of the ordinary.
Are we sure this is the right place?
Once we reach the top, I can't believe my eyes. I'm meeting a contact who supposedly operates a trap house, selling bulk purchases in the weed black market.
This is very strange.
It turns out, this location is more than just a meeting point.
They're looking at us. I would put cameras down.
It's the trap house itself.
Hi, how are you? Mariana. Nice to meet you.
Right there, at the top of this random parking garage in downtown LA, they're dealing millions of dollars worth of illegal weed.
You're more beautiful than I thought.
Thank you. Making me blush right off the
I
bat.
might have to ask you out on a date.
Depends on how you answer my question.
Oh, okay.
Oh, wait, so this is your place?
Maybe.
Their operation is so brazenly out in the open that I'm amazed they can pull it off.
So, yo, why are you doing this though, for real?
Why am I doing this?
Yeah, and are you the cops?
No, I am not the cops.
Are you DEA?
No, I'm not DEA.
But as we talk, they lay out the upside to a location like this.
So you sell, is this sort of a distribution center?
This business is based on the black market model. We're a trap. You know what I mean? A glorified trap house.
It's kind of like the Costco for weed. Ample parking, bulk purchases, and lots of free samples.
So people come in here and that's what we're seeing, is customers coming up here and buying weed from you guys?
Yeah, they come in and they donate their funds and capital. And they get to leave with some great flowers and products.
Weed grown all over California by outlaws like Buddy, the Mexican cartels, the Chinese syndicates. It all ends up moving through an underground distro just like this.
How much money do you think is made here every day?
Pays the bills. Pays the bills.
I mean, it does more than just pay the bills, I assume.
What would you say? What are we doing? $700,000 a week.
$700,000 a week, no.
I mean, this is $1 billion industry, so, you know, I'm just somebody getting a little piece of the pie, you know, a real small piece.
Their shelves are stocked with bags of what looks like brand name marijuana, some of the same kinds I've seen sold at legal dispensaries. We have no way to confirm, but they swear it's the real deal. And if it is, then buyers are getting some of the world's best weed without having to pay a cent of those hefty taxes.
So the weed that you sell here, where does it go to?
I really don't know. I don't ask any questions.
I mean, if they're buying this amount, all these pounds, they're probably going and reselling it, right?
Yeah, the black market businesses, that's what you do. You buy tennis shoes at one price and you flip it and sell it for another price.
In the supply chain, think of it as the place that dealers go to get their weed in bulk before selling it to individual consumers.
Do you guys, because we were able to pretty much just drive up, do you have lookouts? Do you have people knowing who comes in and out?
Yeah, I mean, there's a strategic system in place.
Is that your security guard behind you?
No.
This guy stands with the gun behind you?
That's not a gun.
That's what?
That's not a gun.
That's not a gun? What is it?
I don't know.
Okay.
I can be honest with you, though.
Please.
I got things around, and there's a problem. Somebody going to be attentive to it. Real.
Got it. Okay. I won't ask you again then.
Oh, you're so sweet. I knew you were sweet. I'm about to get that date, I'm telling you.
I ask if I can talk to any of the buyers, but he's not willing to risk losing a potential client.
Would you want to be legalized? Would you want to run a legal operation if you could?
Yeah.
Or do you prefer the black market?
No, I'd rather go legal.
So what do you think would happen to you if you got caught?
They want the RICO charge, the kingpin charge. Take me and throw me away for 20, 30 years. Even not getting caught by the cops. This is a risky business.
Why do you say it's a risky business?
Because firepower.
Guns.
Right now, it's jungle rules. The bigger dog wins.
Still, after seeing the massive size of this operation, the question remains. Who's buying all of this weed? And where is it headed? I still have one question that I need to answer. So I'm heading to an old connection. So we're meeting a guy I know here in LA that traffics guns and fentanyl and meth and a bunch of other drugs.
There's police everywhere. Dude, I can totally smell it from here. Right?
Yes, ma'am.
I've been all over the state, working my way through the supply chain. What I want to know is where's all this weed going?
So what do you have here, Juan?
Got a little bit of crystal meth.
Is that a pound?
Yeah, it's about a pound right here. We got a little bit of different kinds of marijuana. We got a little bit of everything,
In the 10 years that you've been in business, what's made you most money?
The marijuana.
Where do you get it from?
Different sources, can't say.
But you grow it or do you buy it?
Yeah, we buy it in bulk.
And then you package it. Is this your packaging?
Yes, ma'am.
And then you sell it?
Yeah, this right here is about an ounce.
Ooh, that's so intense.
Yes, this is the good stuff right here. Oh, excuse me, I got something real quick.
Is it a client?
Yes.
Customer?
Yes, ma'am. Come on in, guys.
How you, brother?
Pretty good, pretty good.
Hi. How are you?
All right.
How are
Hope
you?
you guys don't mind. I'm doing a little
Mariana.
documentary here, but we good, we good.
Obviously, you guys are covered already, so you
That
know.
COVID gotta be like this. Right. Oh, yeah.
Do you guys live in LA?
Nah.
Oh, you live where?
We live in the south side of Brooklyn.
Where?
South side of Brooklyn.
You're from New York?
Hell yeah.
Did you come all the way to California to buy weed?
Hell yeah.
You're serious?
Yeah.
Light that up.
In fact, up to 80% of the weed grown in California ends up in the hands and the lungs of consumers outside the states.
What kind of questions you wanted to ask me?
So you're gonna fly? Do you fly or do you drive back?
I get it.
My mind is blown. So do you fly or?
Teleport.
You teleport.
Teleport.
That means you don't want to answer my question?
That means we teleport.
That's the weed talking right here.
Transporting weed over state lines is a felony.
Gotta risk it to get the biscuit, man. You know what I'm saying?
Their preferred destinations?
Here we go.
States where weed is still illegal.
They'll end up close to the East Coast or Midwest, Illinois, Wisconsin, Florida.
The drugs were found inside a car being hauled cross-country from California.
And it would go as far as Flushing, New York, to Atlanta.
The drugs were headed to New Jersey.
New York, Miami.
Where it sells for double, even triple the price.
Where you're really going to make your money is the black market in other states.
The marijuana in California is about $1,000 a pound.
Ships it, drives it, sends it wherever it's illegal.
Once you get to Alabama, the price may be $3,500 per pound.
The way it's transported.
Every way you can possibly think of.
Air, mail, train, bus, mules.
RVs, the people that put in the luggage on the airplanes.
Grandmas driving. I mean, literally, if there was camels, there'd be camels.
But I'm told if you're truly a big player in the game, you're in the trucking business.
Police unloaded 500 pounds of marijuana from a semi.
60 bags piled high with marijuana.
The drug-sniffing dog pointed police to boxes of narcotics in the trailer.
They don't fly back, they send it through the shipping company. Big business, they're on trucks and send it to a different state.
You put on a shirt, tie, put a little cross in the rearview mirror, and if you get pulled over when you're driving pounds of weed, you just go, I know that God brought you here for a reason. Do you believe in our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ?
Since 2012, recreational marijuana legalization continues to gain approval at the ballot box, one state after another. If California is any indication, get ready for some black market grows in your forests and in the house next door. That is, if they aren't there already.
We're all black market, we always will be.
One thing seems certain. Until the U.S. decides to legalize weed nationwide,
Sheriff's Department search warrant!
The outlaws will have the upper hand.
The black market will be here as long as the legal market keeps screwing up.
You think that legalization was going to change anything?
I honestly thought that, okay, that's it. The marijuana team's done. There won't be any need for them anymore.
Sheriff's Department search warrant!
A wild shootout on the streets of the Bronx. Tonight, a 51-year-old grandfather shot dead in broad daylight.
I've seen plenty of violence in my career, but a professional hit like this caught my attention. The killing was allegedly part of an ongoing turf war, but not between rival street gangs or mafia crime families. These men were from rival motorcycle clubs.
The 1%er patch is declaring 99% of everybody else are law-abiding citizens. We are the 1% that are the criminals. They wear that as a badge of honor.
Some people might judge us, the symbols that we wear, and if that makes us outlaws, so be it.
These clubs are a contradiction on two wheels. Proudly and loudly public on American roads. And yet notoriously secret about what membership truly entails.
You live outside the law, you're just that 1% of guys that don't give a about the law, about the cops, none of that.
What's motivating the violence? Who's calling the shots? And what does it really mean to be in the 1%? Within the biker world, certain motorcycle clubs have a reputation for violence and secrecy. The Vagos are one of those clubs.
Traditionally, our club has been one of the most tight-lipped of them all. But I am a fan of opening people's eyes.
That's how I end up at this bar, with the club's international president, a man they call
There we go.
Bigfoot.
I started riding Harley-Davidsons in my mid-20s, and it didn't take long to discover that these 1%er clubs dictate the life, and I wanted to have a say.
The term 1%er comes from the American Motorcycle Association, which claims that 99% of bikers are law-abiding citizens. The implication, proudly embraced by certain clubs like the Vagos, is that the other 1% live by their own rules.
We say to the world, we understand what American written law is, but we believe some of it to be. If you say something horrible to me, the law says I'm not allowed to punch you in the mouth for it.
Right.
We say we can. And we accept whatever punishment comes with that. And let me tell you this, we don't hate cops, but what we don't like are the dirty portion of them, who like to stand before a group of mainstream media press, and then they like to call us the mafia on two wheels.
They call you gangs, right?
Yeah,
They
gangs.
don't call you clubs, they call you
They
gangs.
love to use that word, gang, gang, gang.
Why is it that there's so much animosity between different clubs?
I wouldn't say that there is.
So you guys are best friends with all the other clubs?
I wouldn't say that either. Our club motto is we give what we get. And sometimes it results in some really rough stuff.
What about murder?
What about it?
That you guys have been involved in murder.
Well, every once in a while, a melee between a couple of guys or a couple of clubs go at it. Maybe a guy dies. When we go into this life, we know that that is something that could happen.
Members of the Vagos motorcycle gang were armed.
The Vagos have a bloody history,
They are an immediate threat to the public safety.
but it's hard to get anyone to say what's behind the violence.
One of the things that you hear all the time is that motorcycle clubs are involved in drug trafficking.
It's false.
And that's not something you've ever witnessed or saw, or you do not condone that.
As far as the Vagos Motorcycle Club being some amazingly disorganized yet organized drug empire, forget about it. Not a chance. I mean, of course, I'm on film. I wouldn't say it if we were, but I mean, it's utterly ridiculous. I don't know what every single guy does for a living. You know, I have no doubt that there might be a couple of guys that are up to no good. I don't judge my brothers. That's their business.
Bigfoot wants me to believe in what's called the bad apple defense. The idea that the entire club isn't criminal. Just a few bad apples. I'm suspicious, but I just don't know enough to know if he's telling me the truth. I need to better understand these bikers. I need to go to Sturgis. For 10 days, every August, the tiny town of Sturgis, South Dakota, gets a little rowdy. That's what happens when a city of 7,000 people plays host to 500,000, most of them in leather.
Who comes to Sturgis?
Everybody. It's all walks of lives. You have doctors and attorneys that are here. You have people that are homeless here, and everybody in between.
But there's a darker side to the Sturgis motorcycle rally. That's why I'm here, and why Shane comes too, 14 years running.
I work for the local police department.
He's one of the more than 100 law enforcement agents brought in from other cities to patrol the event. Over the years, Sturgis has seen plenty of violence.
It's really intense, man. They're going at it, the Mongols and the Hells Angels.
I've witnessed a shooting, witnessed a stabbing, and then just your basic assaults.
Shane says most of the trouble originates with 1%ers.
We refer to them as OMG outlaw motorcycle gangs. Laws don't apply to them.
So you don't think they're afraid of law enforcement at all?
You know, if they want to do something, they're going to do it.
As a journalist, if I'm trying to get into these clubs and see how they operate, do you think that's an easy thing to do?
I would say no. I would say good luck.
I hit the streets of Sturgis, eager to find another way in. What's strange about this story, especially compared to other investigations I've done, is that these 1%ers aren't hard to find. They literally wear their allegiances on their backs. But that doesn't mean they want to talk. These 1%er clubs are so secretive that some of them don't even stay in Sturgis. They stay outside of town at private campgrounds that apparently get wild. Searching for an invite, I reach out to a biker turned radio host named Hollywood, who I hear is popular with the 1%ers.
And welcome to this edition of Motorcycle Madhouse Radio. Thanks for joining us.
Hollywood.
Hi, Hollywood. It's Mariana. How are you doing?
It's a long shot, but I ask if he can get me inside one of these campgrounds. To my surprise, he comes through. That's where I'm heading now, to meet a 1%er club called the Sons of Silence.
The Sons are their real deal. They don't take no crap. Somebody pushes against them, they're gonna push back. They live this life to the fullest. They take it to the edge and drive off.
Why do you think they agreed to speak to us then?
Because I asked them to.
So when I see the guard and the gate, I'll ask you guys to put the cameras down. Which I think is here, actually. So cameras down. We're here. We're here.
I have no idea what we're walking into.
Okay, let's hope this goes well.
There's a steady drumbeat of violence within biker culture. My quest to understand why has led me to the private campground of a 1%er club called the Sons of Silence. It's like something out of Mad Max. But our invite has come with some restrictions. We can, quote, watch, but not engage. No members can speak on camera without permission from the leaders. So I'm stuck, just looking at these men. These faces. I find myself thinking about the faces of their brothers, the ones I've seen in mugshots.
Federal authorities indicted members of the Sons of Silence motorcycle gang,
an illegal narcotics trafficking organization.
In the last 12 years, club members have been convicted of everything from selling meth and cocaine to sex trafficking, intimidation, extortion, assault, abduction, and murder. That rap sheet is front of mind as I tour the grounds with our minder, a biker named Cody, who wears an enforcer patch.
Do most members come?
It's a mandatory run, so everybody comes.
It's mandatory to come. Oh, I didn't know that.
Apparently, I'm not the only one who's got rules to follow.
What's this?
Every chapter has a flag.
And when they get here, they hang it on the flag. We raise it up.
Huh. How many are supposed to be here, do you know?
I do.
You don't want to tell me. Okay.
That's where the silence part comes in.
How often is it that you have cameras filming these events?
Never. Never at all.
Okay.
I'm game.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's your show. Let's go.
The only members we're allowed to interview are Cody and a man named Boar, who's been in the club nearly 50 years. But even our interview has strict rules attached. So I'm going to ask you the questions that we've agreed upon. I have to say it's the first time that I have a list of questions in front of me, because I usually like it to be more of a conversation. But we've agreed upon these questions, and I believe you have answers in front of you. So first question is, what attracts people to motorcycle clubs?
A lot of people are attracted here due to the freedom and the love of riding motorcycles, the brotherhood, and the sense of the family and belonging to something bigger than yourself.
What makes this brotherhood different than just regular friends?
A lot of these guys we have in our club are veterans of every war you can think of. When I came around 46 years ago, it was all Vietnam veterans. When they came home from what they ever did elsewhere, they were told just to go home and be happy you're home.
Many of these returning soldiers struggle to adjust, especially in the face of a protest movement that often blamed them for the failures and atrocities of the war. Seeking the camaraderie they'd known while serving, many were drawn to these civilian bands of brothers.
This is freedom for me. What's real? It ain't plastic. Society's a great big mind.
Some of the veterans have had their fill of people, but here they feel like they're at home. This is where everybody's accepted, if this is where you want to be. And that's what it's all about.
The military's influence is telling. On the surface, the scene feels wild and freewheeling, but there's a structure that lies beneath. The mandatory attendance, the flag displays, the organized competitions. They wear a different kind of uniform, but they're still trained to obey their leaders.
In our club, it takes at least a year to be a full patch holder.
Potential members must undergo a vetting process. Prospects, as they're known, prove their commitment to the club by following members' orders. It's not hard to spot these prospects around camp. I see one tending the fire, another one on his bike. They can only wear what's called the bottom rocker, IDing their chapter. Only once accepted do they become full patch members and earn their colors, the club's logo.
If they're not satisfactory to what we're looking for, we get rid of them.
Can I ask you, though, about the tattoos and the meanings of the tattoos and the patches?
Okay.
The SS, which you know is the elite team of the Nazis, right? Or does SS represent something else for you?
For me, it does. I'm not going to talk about it.
Cody may deny it, but charges of racism and sexism have dogged these one-percenter clubs through the years.
If you were a member, you'd understand. Some tattoos are to keep people away. And don't ask. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. I won't ask about the tattoos anymore then.
I didn't hear you.
I won't ask about the tattoos anymore then.
Thank you.
But I also won't stay on script.
What exactly is an outlaw biker? What does that mean?
That one I don't think is a good question. The police are the ones that have deemed us to be outlaws. This is who we are, and what we do. I think they're trying to portray us as something we're not.
And it is working because, you know, I've been to many places in my life, but yet I was intimidated coming here. I wasn't sure what to expect. Is that something that you want to continue, or is that something that you're hoping will change your image to the outside world?
I don't give a what people think about us.
Right, but you also don't want people to think that you're criminals.
We really don't care. We're not here to be anything to anybody. We're here for us.
Is it possible that these 1%ers just have an image problem? That they aren't really outlaws, just outcasts, wanting to be left alone? Unsure, I head back to LA, where I connect with a new source, a biker who says he's willing to open up about how these clubs really operate from the inside.
That 1%er patch that you see on my vest here, they wear that as a badge declaring, hey, we are a gang, we are a criminal organization. They know what it means, the culture knows what it means, but they're not gonna say that. They're gonna call themselves a club. We're a motorcycle club. We just like to do what we do because it's the freedom of the riding. They're gonna distance themselves from any opportunity to say that they're an actual gang.
How many clubs did you infiltrate?
Personally, I've infiltrated 3 separate motorcycle gangs, and each one of them becoming a full patch member in all 3.
In all 3, you became a full patch member?
Yes.
That's right. This dude is a federal agent, and within law enforcement circles, a legend. His name is Darren Kozlowski, better known as Koz.
Between 1997 and 2008, I was undercover full-time for approximately 6 of those 11 years in those 3 gangs.
Koz explains that these clubs have sold the public a story. The same story that the Sons of Silence and Bigfoot tried to sell me. But the reality is much dirtier. And he's lived it.
As undercovers, we are thinking the worst. People have been killed, even being suspected of being informants or snitches for these kind of gangs. And there's been murders from people even thinking that they were informants, and they even weren't.
Darren Kozlowski lived with that fear for years. As an undercover agent with the ATF, the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms, he infiltrated 3 of the most notorious 1%er motorcycle clubs: the Vagos, Warlocks, and Mongols.
They'll make money from any means necessary. They're opportunists, so if it's the drug game, weapons, if it's prostitution, they'll find a way to do it. And on top of that, you'll have the other events that come along with it: the violence, the fighting, the stabbings, the territorial disputes, the murders.
Koz explains that the brotherhood these clubs talk about is real, and it's also what makes them effective as criminal gangs.
It gives them that means to conduct their business with that level of trust. That separates them a little bit differently from everybody else. And then when they're getting some heat from another rival gang, yeah, they can make a phone call to LA, and LA's gonna send 100 dudes to that area, and that's gonna be followed with intimidation, going into bars, acts of violence, stabbings, beatings, whatever it may be, to establish themselves up to a point of dominance that we're not here to be with.
Koz tells me the Bronx killing was the result of a classic turf rivalry. The Pagans weren't happy that the Hells Angels had moved their clubhouse into the Bronx. The beef escalated, and a Pagan leader was gunned down.
Because in their culture, that patch means so much, that gang means so much to them, that's what they live and die over.
Weeks later, Koz tips me off to a 1%er's funeral. A member of the Mongols Motorcycle Club has died, and his brothers are gathering for a tradition called the Last Ride.
Wow, you can see all the bikes already up there.
Yeah, wait till you see the procession. There'll be 400 or 500 bikes.
Yeah?
It's even impressive for us, and we've been working it forever.
But there's something else that makes this funeral different. It's being monitored by the feds.
They know that we're out here. This isn't like a covert, stealthy thing. That, creates a perception in their mind that we're still working them and waiting for them to slip up.
Special Agent John Ciccone leads ATF's investigations into 1%er clubs in Southern California. During Cause's years undercover, he considered Ciccone his guardian angel.
So what's going to happen is you're going to have your road captains, right? Which are these guys. And their job is to block off intersections as this thing proceeds, so it keeps the whole pack together.
Are they allowed to do this, to block the roads?
No, but who's going to stop? I mean, you're not going to get yourself in the middle of all that just because they run a red light. You know what I mean? There's a lot of them, man.
The bikers fall into formation. Again, I sense the military's influence. The last ride is a show of respect, but it's also a very public display of force.
Oh, wow, so that's the hearse right here.
Yeah, and then you got one guy protecting it, one rider.
Then it's just a sea of bikes behind. Oh, they're looking at us.
Yeah, it's gonna get dicey.
Holy. I mean, the whole car is shaking. Did you see that? He flipped a middle finger at us?
Yeah.
I'm truly, like, my body just need a rest right now. So intense.
I primarily work the Mongols, so I know the most about them. They want to instill fear and intimidation wherever they go. I consider them one of the most violent out there.
Over the years, ATF's work has led to several major takedowns.
Homicides, narcotics, some extremely violent individuals who are taken off the street today.
Speaking before a treasure trove of seized assets from the gang, the U.S. Attorney announced a major sweep and takedown of the Mongols. He called them a violent criminal enterprise.
We convicted the gang. We had 4 agents that were members for 3 years. I mean, they went through the process, hang around prospecting, and then full patch membership for that time period. But, you know, the protocols were broken down to them. You know, if you see an Hell's Angel, shoot on sight. The Mongols have killed 3 Hell's Angels in the last month.
No way.
There's a shooting here, and then Denver was a murder, Indiana a murder, Cleveland, Ohio murder.
So there's a huge fight going on between the two?
Yeah. It's been that way since the 70s.
Agent Ciccone shows me the video of a massive brawl inside a Nevada casino. 2 Hells Angels died from gunshots, and a Mongol was stabbed to death.
3,000 innocent civilians in that casino. They didn't give a and the Hells Angels didn't give a. They came in and got it on. They got it on because that's what gang members do.
Ciccone explains how the clubs encourage these rivalries.
If you confront another rival gang member, you get a respect, fear, and unpatch. You know, it's a badge of honor. If you're involved in a shooting or a murder, you get a skull and crossbones patch. So they're promoting the violence and rewarding the violence.
Giving them patches.
Of course, it's been right there in front of my face the whole time. Stitched into the leather, coded language that speaks to what these clubs value.
You can put all the fluff around the Harleys and all that, but it's a gang. We all know what comes with that. Violence, drug trafficking, firearms trafficking, assaults, murders, shootings. And they operate just like a street gang. They just ride bikes. We got some information that a group of Mongols is at a restaurant over here in Monrovia. So we're just gonna kind of go see what they're up to. And then we'll see if we can make contact with them.
So by contact, you mean just like try to talk to a few of them?
Yeah, we'll just pull up and kind of sit there with my windows down and see if I can stir up anything.
You just love stirring up.
Oh, yeah.
Is this Mexican restaurant? Oh, yeah.
Some bikes. So there's definitely some members here.
So they leave their helmets on their bikes? They're not afraid that somebody will steal them?
No one's gonna steal them. That will not happen.
With no planning and no backup, Agent Ciccone is about to roll up on one of the most feared motorcycle clubs on the planet. And the Mongols all know he's a federal agent.
Yeah, this looks like the where they're at.
Oh my God. Is this a good idea?
What's going on?
The Mongols' motto is respect few, fear none. The ATF have called them the most violent motorcycle club in the country. And yet, Agent John Ciccone has decided it's a good idea to crash their post-funeral lunch.
What's going on?
You want a taco?
Sure, man. I thought that was you. I'm like, I gotta do a double take, man.
When Agent Ciccone invited me along for this ride, I didn't anticipate a friendly chat with the infamous Mongols.
What's happening, dude?
I didn't know you were with the wife.
Not this time, man.
Oh, damn, what are you
What's
guys
up,
doing?
man?
And this isn't just any Mongol. It's one of the top leaders of the club.
How'd the funeral go? You guys make your run and all that?
Yeah.
How was it?
We seen you on the freeway.
He's on the freeway, man.
Yeah.
Just stay off the freeways next weekend, man, because Castiglione's getting buried in the Hells Angel in San Diego.
Oh, yeah.
He was like a 50-year member, man.
Oh, yeah?
So...
Next weekend?
Next weekend.
I heard they buried 3 other dudes like in the last month. I don't know why, but that's what I hear. That's the
No comment, man.
Yeah, 3-0.
No comment, man.
3-0.
No comment, man.
Did you catch that scoreline? 3-0. Presumably meaning 3 Hells Angels dead, 0 Mongols killed.
Investigators say multiple people riding motorcycles were involved in the shooting.
Police are saying a person was stabbed to death.
Initial details painted the fatal confrontation between the rival gangs as an argument that escalated.
All right, I'll let you guys go, man.
Wait, can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Since we're at this. So we're with National Geographic.
Oh, I thought that was your wife.
That did
The
National
whole time
Geographic,
you thought
man.
it was his wife?
Hey, you don't see all this
That's
stuff?
everything.
Can we come hang out with you guys one day?
Yeah.
He's saying no, he's saying
Hey.
yes. I'm Mariana, by the way. Hi, how are you?
Come
so
on,
how do I
man.
contact you?
Number. Take down my number. Don't record the number.
So I'm Mariana, I'll call you,
All right, cool.
and then I'm hoping we can hang out with you.
Yeah, I can't promise anything, but we'll talk.
Okay.
Later.
Thanks, guys. Have a margarita for us.
There
That
you go,
was
man.
insane.
See? What kind of hookup you guys got here today?
But that was
Yeah, the guy in the white shirt.
And he immediately obviously knew who you were,
Yeah, well,
and he jumped off this
Look,
chair and came
you have to understand that. We have an open communication, him and I. It's a respect thing. That's all I can really explain it. I've worked these guys since '97. You don't harass them or disrespect them, but we work them. And we put the criminals in jail, especially with, he's a national president. You know, everything's under his watch. He doesn't want to go to prison. But then there's times where he comes more involved with being the national president, is, you know, giving out those awards and those patches when people do stuff. You know, he's behind that.
So there's absolutely no doubt in your mind that they perform illegal activities, that they're criminals.
It's who they are. Not all of them commit crimes every day or have criminal histories, but they have protocols that everybody has to adhere to. You're forced into their criminal element when you become a member. All they have to do is just act right, and we would leave them alone, you know? But as long as they're gonna keep shooting and killing people, then we're gonna be around.
I want to know what role these leaders actually play. And if these clubs are criminal enterprises hiding in plain sight, then what's bringing in the money?
I would say the drugs make the most money for them.
Cos tells me something that I didn't know before. That the drugs they famously transport are supplied and controlled by the Mexican cartels.
So if the cartels have such a network here in the U.S. already established, why work with the clubs to transport those drugs? What's in it for them?
I think it's just going to come down to pure business. If you have a gang that can move X amount of weight and you have a trusted member who can deliver from that connection, you now have a whole nother network of people to distribute to. you expand that territory, you've reached another group that has that crossover connection with cartel types.
This isn't about a few bad apples. This is pure business. To see the criminal side of these 1%ers, I've got to follow the money.
Hi. How are you doing?
You know, he doesn't want to be named.
And find the connection between the clubs and the cartels.
And what about, do you have any connections outside of California?
That comes from Mexico, too.
Over the years, I've made underworld contacts.
Buenos días. Ya está todo cuadrado, hijo.
On both sides of the border.
Okay, so that's... Soy Mariana.
I've networked.
¿Y tú haces parte de un club?
Sí.
I've built trust.
Ok, entonces nosotros aquí estamos.
And in moments like this, I know who can open doors.
We just got the call.
We just got the call?
Yes, they finally told us where to meet. It's a place where they feel safe. It'll be a place where we can sit and talk and negotiate. If they know your name, they're expecting your call, they'll send a pin of where we're supposed to meet them.
Finally, after weeks of hustling, a cartel contact agrees to connect me to a 1%er who transports narcotics.
Just make sure we're not being followed. Okay, I'd say cameras down, guys. Definitely cameras down. More important that we not spook them right now than...
There's a bit of a complication. They don't want us to bring our cars. They want us to jump into their cars.
Yeah, I don't think that's a good idea at all. I don't feel comfortable jumping in the car with somebody that we don't know and where they're taking us and all that. I don't think that's a good idea. So they should be around here somewhere.
If you get any updates, Rod, call.
Can we not talk on the... Can we not put the walkie-talkies up when we're talking, guys? 'Cause it's like, if you want to scream undercover cops, that's it. I'm obviously paranoid at this point. Just them. Okay, so that's them, guys. Leave the car running. Wish me luck. Hi, how are you doing? Mariana.
Okay, I'm gonna need you to put all the phones in the bag, turn them off, and leave them on the car.
And leave them in the other car?
Yes.
So we can't take phones with us?
No.
Can I take mine at least?
No.
I can shut it off?
No.
So a little bit of a problem is that they don't want any of us to take our phones, so they've asked that we keep our phones here, which makes me a little nervous. That's not a situation I like to be in at all. Everybody's phones. Are you okay? Okay, thanks, guys.
I'm in a car with a man I'm told is a cartel operative, who I presume is armed. He's taking me to meet a 1%er, but I don't know where we're going or what we'll learn when we get there.
So you're not actually the person we're going to be talking to, right? Somebody else.
Yeah, someone else. There's a buddy right here, to the right.
This is him?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. So he was waiting here for us the whole time?
Yeah.
This is apparently the biker in question, and he's clearly been tracking our movements.
So, you work with the cartel?
I'm not saying nothing.
Sorry. As a journalist, I start asking questions immediately. Oh, it's a sort of a ranch house, yeah?
Yes. One of many.
One of many you guys have around here?
Yes.
Good, guys.
We arrive at a normal-looking ranch house on a bit of land. As I get out of the car, I'm met by a masked man with a semi-automatic rifle. He directs me around the back of the house, and that's where I find our biker. For his safety, we're covering his face and changing his voice.
All right.
Okay. Were you undecided about talking to us?
I was, yeah. I don't really trust nobody.
Did you check our work, or did you check me out to make sure that I wasn't police?
Oh, yeah, all you guys.
You did? All of us?
Yes. There's a network.
Of bikers?
Yes. Trust me, any information that we need from anybody is there.
Can I ask you what club you belong to?
You could ask me all day, but I'm not gonna say.
But it's, would you say that it's a well-known one?
Oh, yeah, it's a well-known one, yeah.
I was told that you were part of the...
Again, I don't want to say. You know, I can't expose myself because this is serious business.
What would happen if they found out that you were talking to me?
I would probably get killed. All these they'll hurt you. They'll hurt you when they have to.
They or you?
Everybody. Every last one of them.
Do you carry a gun with you?
All the time.
You have it right now? Huh. So you still don't trust me?
I don't trust nobody.
Why did you agree to do this interview and I'm gonna give you the gun back?
Because I don't give a about nothing.
So what would you say then is the major business of the club that you belong to?
Narcotics.
Finally, after months of trying, I find a biker who's willing to talk about what no other 1%er would, the criminal side of motorcycle clubs.
What drugs are we talking about?
Oh, everything from weed, cocaine, glass, heroin, you name it, do it all. There's a bunch of guys that just love to ride and want to be part of the club. And there's others like myself that love to get money and love that life. And that's what we do.
How much money do you make?
A lot.
I push for details about their operation and how they work with the Mexican cartels.
So it's sort of a working farm here?
Yes. This is where we started.
The property is both a marijuana grow and a stash house for whatever else might pass through. This man oversees the operation for his cartel bosses south of the border.
These are getting ready to be harvested?
Yes. 3 more weeks.
3 more weeks?
Yes.
So you work with these guys a lot?
I do, yeah. Myself and my people.
They do the production side and you guys do the transporting.
Yeah. This is where we'll pack it, where we trim it, where we weight it.
Wow, smell is super, super strong here. So this is the flour that's been harvested already?
Correct.
Trimmed?
Yes.
Ooh. It smells good. I don't think most people know that. You guys are running an operation like this just right here out in Southern California.
This is just us, but there's a lot more. You'd be surprised. I got a network of guys that get the merchandise from these gentlemen, and we distribute it throughout the U.S.
Where do these drugs go to usually?
Most of it goes in the street. A lot of it goes to different states. The further, the more expensive it is. There's clubs everywhere.
Why do you guys like to work with bikers?
Like, they're not afraid of the cops, you know. They're ruthless pretty much.
Yes, even the Mexican cartels think 1%ers are ruthless.
Does the club leaders know that you do this and that the members of the club do this? Do they make a cut out of it?
Of course, yeah.
Do they make good money?
Everybody eats. There's shot callers and there's people underneath. They move other people and so on and so on. That's how you take care of your family and live the good life. Even if it's in doing this dirty.
It does make sense. What better business partners for Mexican narco-traffickers than loyal, tight-lipped, road trip-loving American outlaws? With local chapters crisscrossing a country that spends nearly $150 billion a year on illegal drugs. I'm not saying every 1%er is involved, but wherever serious cash is being made, serious trouble follows.
Why is there so much hatred between clubs?
It goes deep. It goes deep.
Is it a territory thing? I mean, the fact that you're assuming that you're controlling the trafficking happening in this area.
It's all about territory. That's all it is. You gotta stick with your brothers. And if they say, let's go to war, we're gonna go to war.
To go to war, meaning you'd have to kill other people, you would do that?
Whatever it takes.
A lot of organizations in the criminal world don't advertise in the open who they are. Motorcycle gangs do. Even a part of me felt empowered when I got fully patched. You get that sense that you have power.
Most outlaws I've met live in the shadows. But not these guys. They're bold enough to tell us exactly who they are and dare us to do something about it.
It's just dangerous. You could die at any given time for any given reason.
Do you think you'll continue doing it?
I've been doing it my life. I'll do it till I'm laid in the casket.
Meth has made an alarming comeback.
Cases involving meth have spiked over 1,000%.
Proving meth is still a major problem.
Meth is trending up, especially prevalent in middle-class neighborhoods.
More powerful, more plentiful.
Easy to find and so cheap. If you want it, you can get it.
It's being called a new wave of crystal meth.
¿Qué tipo de drogas traficas tú?
Ice. A los gringos les gusta mucho el cristal.
A generation after U.S. government crackdown on labs and ingredients torpedoed the drug supply, meth is back with a vengeance.
I basically learned how to be a high-functioning addict.
We call it Zombieland now, because everybody's zombie the out.
I want to know who's making it, how it's being trafficked, and why it's become such a hot commodity again.
The military covering their faces, which is never good.
This is a journey to uncover the most prolific meth pipeline the world has ever seen.
The thing about this drug, she always wins in the end.
I think it's here. Yeah, I can hear somebody talking to. One of the reasons he picks this hotel is because there are no cameras. Hi. Hi, I'm Mariana. How are you doing?
Fantastic.
How many people are you expecting to come tonight? You have a phone full of messages?
Yes, tons of them.
50 messages?
Yeah, maybe more.
And everyone there, they're trying to buy drugs from you?
I dabble in a lot of different communities. The freaks come out at night.
This is Mike, a meth dealer from Austin. He tells me he's been dealing meth for more than 5 years. He doesn't like his clients knowing where he lives.
Hey, girl.
So he posts up at a hotel for what he refers to as a cattle call.
So who's coming up now?
Mr. Pink.
After some convincing, Mike allows us to watch as he conducts deals on a very busy Friday night.
So can I get what I told you over the phone?
You want some crystal meth?
Yes.
Okay. Come on, sit on that.
Shut up. Thank you.
So That covers that. I thought you owed me 100, so you still 60.
It seems like every deal is interrupted by another call from another customer.
Thank you.
The last time meth was this popular, Mike was in elementary school.
It's called crank, crystal, or speed.
Federal officials say more than 12 million Americans have tried it.
Once you get that high, you just keep wanting more and more and more.
In the late 90s and early 2000s, a new type of drug epidemic began playing out on local news stations across the country.
This is the result of a meth lab exploding.
When they weren't killing themselves, amateur chemists were cooking meth from a toxic mix of household chemicals and over-the-counter cold medicine. It was a DIY phenomenon that produced one of the most addictive drugs ever seen, and one of the best TV series ever made.
This is art, Mr. White.
Actually, it's just basic chemistry, but thank you, Jesse. I'm glad it's acceptable.
It was an epidemic that was devastating rural white America. Perhaps the most lasting images from those days were put together by a sheriff's deputy in Oregon. A series of before and after mugshots of users that became known simply as the faces of meth. But as I talked to some of Mike's clients in Austin, they surprised me.
I try to keep a together appearance. I don't look like somebody from Pieces of Meth.
And your mom?
I am.
Not in a million years would I think that you use meth.
Well, I appreciate that, I think, because I think there is a certain stigma that we're all like toothless and eating people when we don't sleep for 10 days. I have an education and I have a job.
You're a lawyer.
Yes.
I sell cars, actually.
You're able to function and hold a job?
Yes, for sure.
I was an interior designer in a very affluent part of town.
And you're able to work?
Yeah.
How often do you use meth?
All the time.
And why do you use it?
It's a habit. It's just what I do. It's not what I want to do, but it's just what I do.
The demographics of meth users may have changed, but the control the drug asserts over those users has not. It comes from the power of dopamine. Meth unleashes a concentrated high to the pleasure sensors of the brain, and explains why it's so easy for users of any background to become addicted.
How do you do it?
I inject it.
Is that a more dangerous way of doing it or more powerful?
It's more addictive, I would say.
It's not even a decision. It's like a loop you just can't get off of. You just reach for it. I've basically learned how to be a high-functioning addict.
Mike is an addict, too. When he's not dealing, he's often using. His relationship with meth has been a roller coaster.
I had 3 houses, 2 cars, and lost it all. Homeless in the streets 4 years.
Have you done time in prison?
I have 3 felonies.
For drugs?
Possession. If I catch another one, I'm gone. It's a life sentence. I made a promise to my mother that I would be here to take care of her, and I'm gonna keep that.
Mike and his clients are some of the new faces of meth. I want to understand why meth is making such a comeback and where it's all coming from.
All right, bring it in, guys. Look, phones.
So DEA SRT was execute a state search warrant. Subject 1, extremely lengthy rap sheet. He's our primary target. Secondary target has violence in his rap sheet also.
I'm with the special response team of the San Diego DEA as they are preparing for an early morning raid.
Any questions? Questions? All right, get up.
Launched in 2020, Operation Crystal Shield targets folks like Mike, traffickers and dealers across the country. At the peak of the last meth craze in 2006, the U.S. finally put stringent limits on the sales of cold medications containing ephedrine, the key ingredient in production. The supply chain quickly dried up and meth use plummeted, but the dip was short-lived.
SRT just made the northbound turn on Claremont.
You still get nervous, or you're just...
It's good to be a little nervous, because if you're not, then you're not safe.
Tonight in San Diego, the DEA is targeting the house of a suspected meth dealer with prior felonies.
This is it.
The information they have is that there's large quantities of drugs, including meth, also possibly guns, and we'll see what they can find now.
Police department search warrant. Follow the command.
So it's 3 total, right?
There's 3 total out, and there's at least 1 more on the inside. Maybe more.
A few hours later, they're ready to show me what they found.
So this is Bristol.
Crystal, right. It's a nice big shard right there.
It is. Are you guys finding a difference in the quality of the meth? Is it more powerful now?
It is. Most of the meth that we seized has over 90% purity, which is a lot different than it was 15, 20 years ago.
And if you were to guess, where is this coming from? Where did this bag come from?
Oh, from Mexico. Absolutely. I mean, it's just right here.
Last year, over 50,000 kilos of meth was seized in California on the southwest border. It's increasing every year.
Never worked with this guy before, and he just wants to make sure that we are, in fact, journalists.
To understand the origins of this wave of Mexican meth, I need to go meet its new suppliers.
What's up?
You want to stop here. Let's go over some rules, as usual.
Okay. Okay, you guys stay in the car?
I've reported from Sinaloa many times before.
Hola, ¿todo bien? ¿Cómo están? Soy Mariana.
I know this drill well.
Ok, entonces nosotros podemos ir cuando.
Aquí le voy a hablar al señor para que nos reciba ahí. Entonces, aquí en este caso lo seguimos usted. Sí, sí.
No one introduces themselves as cartel members, but I know exactly who I'm dealing with. The Sinaloa cartel runs the most ruthless narco-trafficking operation on the planet. They'll do just about anything to defend their smuggling routes. Their violent reputation hides another truth. The cartel knows how to spot a business opportunity. U.S. authorities may have torpedoed the domestic supply of meth during its last heyday in the 2000s, but they did little to stem the demand. That opened the door for organizations like the Sinaloa cartel.
I don't know if you went to the right or the left.
Right.
Got it. So we're entering cartel territory here, right?
Yes.
So we're following this guy who we've been told he's a lieutenant for the cartel, sort of a boss in the cartel. He's taking us to what they call a super meth lab around here. We're trying to keep up with him because he's in a hurry. He says we have to get there fast. If we get there. This is it, guys. We're here. Just a bunch of masked men waiting for us. This is it, guys. We're here.
After driving 2 hours deeper into the Sierra Madre Mountains, we arrive at a very remote location.
Hola. Hola, buenas. Soy Mariana. Podemos entrar entonces algunas reglas, algunas cosas. Tenemos las cámaras en el carro. ¿Podemos decir para salir? ¿Pueden venir las cámaras? ¿Todo bien? Okay. We can go, guys. Okay, gracias. Their walkie-talkies are really loud. La información que tienen los walkie-talkies es de alrededor.
Estamos llegando, tenemos permiso de dejarlo llegar.
So they knew, essentially, since we entered the Sierra Madre, this area here, that we were here, that without permission, there's no way we would even gotten this close.
Lejos para llegar aquí, ¿eh?
Sí. Por el gobierno.
¿Eso qué es? ¿Agua?
Sí, todo para
para...
Agua.
Oh, wow. So you see these pipes? This is water pipes, they say, for the lab. Let me see how they are trying to hide them with grass here. Oh my God. This is it. Wow. This is much bigger than I thought it was going to be.
After a long hike, we arrive at a massive meth production site, what the Sinaloa cartel calls a super lab.
Impresionante, ¿eh? Grande. Hola. ¿Aquí qué es?
Le hacemos tres cosas de plomo.
Lead. Pero plomo es muy peligroso, ¿no? Para la salud también.
Sí, por eso.
Plomo, sí.
La galleta.
Galleta, which is what they call cookie, is a mix of other chemicals.
Cianuro, sosa, alcohol.
Cyanide, lime, alcohol, and then they put the fire on, it starts heating. The smell is so strong de todo. El olor.
Make no mistake about it, the booming popularity of meth in the US goes hand in hand with the boom in production here. Labs like this are cooking meth on an industrial scale. A generation ago, American-made meth was only about 60% pure. The cartels have increased the purity to above 90%.
He's just showing you the accuracy. This is what the level that they want, and it's spot on.
And yet, cooking the drug is still as crude and dangerous as ever.
So you can see just how rudimentary this all is. The fire coming underneath here, there's a really strong smell of gas. There's a thing going round and round. This is all made by hand, and you just have the feeling that this can go wrong really fast. Que la última vez que estuve en un laboratorio de metanfetamina, ahí hacían con las pills, con las pastillas.
Oye, no, eso ya no.
So, entonces no tiene que hacer como los químicos, prequímicos que vienen de China y así.
No.
¿Y eso cómo se llama eso?
Eso se llama P2P.
Okay. So instead of having to buy and wait for the precursor chemicals to come from China, they're actually making it all right here.
It's finally happening. The cartel's drug producers are becoming self-reliant. Only 2 years ago, I was off the coast of Mazatlan watching cartel members fish barrels of Chinese-made chemicals out of the water. Now, they are free of Asian suppliers and shipping timelines, and making the chemicals themselves. That means more meth at a faster rate.
So this is the final step in the whole process. So this is the crystal that forms crystal meth. So it's starting to boil and the crystal is starting to form at the top. ¿Y el proceso todo cuánto tiempo para que se forme el hielo?
Y nada, sí, vamos a tener hielo mañana.
¿Y cómo lo aprendiste?
Viendo.
Consumo ahorita, es más demanda de cristal ahorita.
Sí, hay mucha gente que lo consume. Y hay muchos laboratorios en todo Sinaloa. Sintética de tumbó todavía la chiva. Más fama, pues.
¿Y por qué lo haces?
Como tengo que trabajar.
Dios, no hay otras cosas que puedes hacer aquí en vez de hacer un producto ilegal.
No, pues sí, pero pues aquí pagan bien.
Sí, aquí ustedes no tienen miedo de los militares, de la policía, que te vean.
No.
¿Por qué? ¿Por qué no tienen miedo de ellos?
Porque agarran mordidas.
Agarran mordidas.
Sí.
Corruptos.
Sí.
Ustedes le pagan.
I want to understand how meth produced in the super lab makes it to America. So I reach out to my cartel contact to see the next link in the supply chain.
The military.
But on the way out of the area, our cars are surrounded.
There's another one coming. They're covering their faces, which is never good.
I'm in Sinaloa, tracking the supply chain of America's latest drug wave. We just left a crew of well-armed, masked men cooking insane amounts of crystal meth, when our cars are surrounded by a different crew of well-armed, masked men.
The military.
The Mexican military.
There's another one coming. They're covering their faces, which is never good. They blocked us, behind us, and in front of us, trucks. You just never know what exactly their goal is. Wildest intimidation.
¿Sí podía bajar para tomar unas fotos?
¿De nosotros?
Sí.
¿Por qué?
Es que tenemos que hacer un informe también de lo...
¿De lo qué?
As the military swarms us, they refuse to give us a specific reason as to why we're being detained.
They're saying they want us out of the car, they want to take photos of us and do an investigation.
Hay problema. Estamos haciendo un documental.
Permite revisar el vehículo nada más.
Sí, cómo no. We want to check the car, guys. We were essentially surrounded by military. They're searching our cars right now. Definitely not a pleasant experience because they're coming up at us with guns and they're asking us all sorts of questions, asking why we're there, what we're filming.
They're saying that they don't want you to film this.
Ah, okay, so they're telling us not to film. We have to put cameras down, guys.
As they search our vehicles, a senior officer demands that our local producer explain where we've been and where we're going. Ultimately, they find no reason to keep us, and they let us go.
I mean, that was not a good situation to be in. It is a lot of armed men. But, you know, corruption is rife in Mexico. So you never know who exactly they're working for, if it's the government or the cartel themselves.
In Mexico, it's hard to know where allegiances lie. The billions of dollars cartels make running drugs to the U.S. have perverted the rule of law, corrupting government and law enforcement at nearly every level. We were allowed to continue our journey north, but it was a good reminder to never let our guard down.
Okay, so we're still in narco territory, and we're heading to a stash house where they say that they have crystal meth that has been packed up, or they're packing it up right now. I'm unsure, but that's going to be shipped to the U.S. tomorrow. Problem is it's getting night here, which is never when you want to be in this part of the world.
Here to the left.
Here it is. We're here. Hola. Ah, okay. Todo eso es cristal.
Sí, todo.
¿Verdad?
De verdad.
Oh my God.
Holy, I cannot believe it.
Wow. So all this is crystal meth that came from the lab. Entonces no es cristal, es con polvo.
Se llama arroz, aquí le llamamos arroz.
Arroz.
Ya se cuaja y allí ya lo sacan en las cajitas y ya hace cuenta que ya quedó la libra con el se les pega a todo el mundo. Pero no, esto también no. Se hace pasar por un producto que según es fertilizante como para la uva y eso.
Entonces va en tipo barrotes de fertilizante o cajas.
Sí, en costales, así como así, hace cuenta. Yo le pone una tanda y arriba le acá ahí.
Showing, okay, so I mean, this is fertilizer, these are the drugs, you just cover it all with real fertilizer. So if you're searching the car, you're not going to search each individual piece. So they have these 4 bags and they have more bags inside. Come on, see this, he's saying. Oh, so el baño. So it's hidden in the bathroom, I guess.
Here it is. 1, 2, 3, 4 more. ¿Es todo del mismo laboratorio?
Todo es del mismo laboratorio. Pues 10 días salen más. Y aquí pues ya junto y aquí ya le hace la salida. Y los desafía la camioneta, me empezaron.
And they just throw it in the truck like this, he's saying, just easily. You don't even have to try to hide it very much. Y todo eso va para Estados Unidos, ¿no?
Sí, todo para Estados Unidos.
Todo, nada se queda acá.
Todo se queda para allá.
Y por semana, más o menos, ¿cuántos envían ustedes? ¿Se imaginan?
Una media tonelada.
Half a ton of drugs.
Let's just do the math on that. My sources tell me that 1 pound of meth in Mexico goes for $200, but that price jumps to $650 once it crosses the border, and up to $1,500 per pound once it reaches a big city like Los Angeles. So if they're moving half a metric ton to LA every week, roughly 1,100 pounds, they're making more than $1.4 million in profit every shipment.
I don't think I've ever seen just the enormous amount of drugs that were there tonight. And they don't even try to hide it. Handing over the drugs to us, and we're all talking openly about it. And then to find out that half a ton of meth is shipped out of here, that is insane.
America's latest wave of crystal meth is big business in cartel land. Still, I want to understand how the Sinaloa cartel is moving so much ice across the highly secured US border each week, and how American dealers like Mike get their hands on that supply.
Hey, any news?
We got information that you're going to be meeting a biker. He's smuggling drugs across the border. He's crossing now, so we got to hurry up.
Okay. Any other rules? Anything we need to know about beforehand?
Well, they're going to tell us where they want to meet. It's for their security and for ours.
Okay, bye. So it looks like it's on.
I'm in the border town of Calexico to see how Mexican cartels smuggle meth into the biggest illegal drug market in the world, the United States of America.
We're here.
Yeah, I'm here too.
Okay, there's not much to it. We just wait now.
Hey, Mariana, the biker should arrive to your spot any minute now.
Okay, so he's coming right to our car?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's him. Hola.
Good.
¿Cómo estás? Soy Mariana.
The trafficker tells me to call him Ricardo. He's an American citizen from East LA.
¿Qué tipo de drogas traficas tú?
Ice.
Crystal meth. ¿Las tienes ahorita también?
Sí. Le puedo mostrar una parte, lo demás está muy escondido.
That's crystal meth. Nice.
The drugs are wrapped with duct tape and plastic. They're called huevos, or eggs, and each one is packed tightly with crystal meth.
¿Cuántos kilos están aquí?
Aquí son aproximadamente como 2 libras.
2 libras, 2 pounds. Turns out there are 12 huevos hidden throughout the bike, totaling 24 pounds of meth, a street value of $36,000 in Los Angeles.
¿Para dónde vas?
Ahorita voy directamente por Los Ángeles.
¿Tú haces parte de algún cártel?
No. Solo lo transporto yo.
Entonces, ¿de las drogas vienen de dónde?
Mexicali.
Pero es de un cártel que te las da, ¿no?
Sí. Yo nomás la transporto.
¿Solo eso?
Sí. Acá en la moto y llévate.
Ricardo is one of thousands in a decentralized network of freelance smugglers utilized by the cartel. It's an army of ants who avoid seizures by funneling smaller packages of meth in cars and motorcycles, maximizing efficiency and minimizing risk, with drivers who have less direct ties to the cartels themselves.
Es tu patrono.
Just like that, we're interrupted by Ricardo's boss, who needs him to proceed with his route.
His boss is calling. Okay.
Sí, ya voy para allá.
Okay, he really has to go.
This meth pipeline is part of a drug trafficking empire that brings in an estimated $30 billion in revenue a year. That's more than Fortune 500 companies like Visa or Starbucks. And like any good business, the cartels are never satisfied. That's how I find myself parked on an LA street, awaiting a sketchy meetup with a cartel operative working on a new initiative.
Hey guys, can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Are these the people we've met before?
I have never met these people. They got this connection through the Sinaloa cartel.
Do you trust these people?
I don't know. What they told me is do not film when we are on the way to the location. If you do and we learn that you did, we're gonna kill your contact.
That's... They actually said that?
Yes, Marianita, they did say that. This guy to get killed just because we filmed something.
Okay, so no, absolutely no filming on the way to the location, wherever that location is.
No, please do not.
Okay, you guys heard that? Okay, I think this is it. So we're parking about 2 blocks from the actual location. They've asked us to park away. And also, they told us to bring all the gas masks because apparently it's super toxic. Okay? Do this.
Raking in billions a year, the cartels have seen their meth profits soar thanks to their endless pursuit of cheaper and quicker ways to reach American users. I walk a few blocks to meet a new cartel contact who calls himself Pablo.
Hey.
Hello.
And I honestly have no idea what to expect.
Please put your mask on. They did already, and it smells like chemicals really bad, and it's really strong. All the chemicals that we're using are very, very dangerous. You gotta be careful what you're touching.
Before you arrived?
Yes, I was cooking. I had something here, but I don't want to touch it because it's still cooking. This is what you call shake and bake. Because in case police coming, shake it. We don't do another one.
I know 2 years ago you could find shake and bake all around the country. And then they cracked down on Sudafed, so the production of meth went to Mexico. But now it's back here?
Boom, it's here.
And your boss is a big boss in the Sinaloa cartel?
I go directly to my boss in Sinaloa cartel.
And he gives you the orders?
He gives me the order. That's why you guys got the okay, the access to come here.
That's right. According to Pablo, the same shake and bake labs that once dotted the American landscape are making a comeback. But this time, they're funded and run by Mexican cartels.
So what's mind-blowing to me is that it looks to me almost like I'm in a school lab. So what do we have here?
We got the gas, we got the battery acid.
You also use Sudafed?
We have the liquid sulfate because we crush up the pills.
Pablo tells me that while getting Sudafed is hard, the cartel has channels to source ingredients from pharmaceutical companies.
How different is this from the meth that's coming from Mexico?
They said they were doing 60 pills. So I'm using 500 pills. More pills we crush up, the more stronger it is.
Oh, wow. Do you think the drugs are just going to get stronger and stronger?
Yes, they are.
By making it here, you don't have to cross the border. You can just make it.
Exactly.
Pablo explains that the cartel is experimenting with this direct-to-consumer model, which lowers production costs, eliminates the risk and cost of transport, and cuts out mules and middlemen.
We can't say exactly where we are, but we're in the middle of the city.
We're in the middle of the city.
And we have these all around the city.
We have 5 that are getting built right now we speak, and around the corner we have at least 8.
Wow, in operation?
Yes.
Profits are already soaring. Just from the network of labs run by Pablo in LA, he tells me he's making $12 million every year for his bosses in Sinaloa.
We call it zombie land now, because everybody's zombie the out now using crystal meth.
Does it bother you that there are people out there dying from the stuff you make?
Yes, it does bother me, but I gotta live one way or another. I grew up in this. I come from Sinaloa. This is all I know, and you know, it's hard.
As the cartel's producers in Mexico and within the US pump out more and purer crystal meth, their strategy to hook more users is working.
328 people died by overdosing on drugs here in Arizona last year.
Methamphetamine is back on the rise in Ohio.
More people are now dying from meth overdoses than heroin across Colorado. Right here on the streets of San Francisco.
Omaha is caught in the crosshairs.
On the rise in San Diego.
That means more customers for the cartels.
The US is now home to an estimated 1 million meth addicts, an epidemic that's killing thousands of people a year. I wonder how Mike, the dealer I met in Austin, feels about his role in such a deadly epidemic. So I reach back out, and I ask if he's still planning to come to LA for business.
So as if my life couldn't get any more crazier. It was just today.
His reply is the first in a series of nearly incoherent video texts.
There's someone always watching you. At every time, every minute, every day, every hour, week, every month, every year, the rest of your life.
I ask where he is, but it's not totally clear from his next text.
Here I am, still with no ID, wondering how am I gonna make it happen.
Mike tells me he's on his way to meet me, but then I get this.
I I'm literally on my last dime. So now, what to do?
It's like I'm watching him unravel.
Don't smoke meth. Really take us somewhere, girls. Or should take it absolutely nowhere.
Finally, he tells me he's in San Diego. And then, the line suddenly goes dark. What I thought was simply the last link in the meth supply chain, a street-level dealer, is actually a window into the raging epidemic itself. Mike's disappearance is evidence of the very dark places where meth addiction leads, reminding me of something one of his clients told me back in Austin.
I've been really lucky in a lot of ways. I've never been arrested. I've never stolen anything from anybody. I haven't had to sell my body. I've all these things that I've seen a lot of really smart and really good people do, just because that's what this drug pushes you to do. It is not easy. And mom guilt is very real, and pressure is very real there. I mean, that's just what also comes with meth, right? Guilt and shame and pressure. Mm-hmm.
Three days later, I get a message that Mike has made it to LA. He wants to meet at his motel. I have a hunch things are about to get messy.
Can we cut real quick? No, I'm just starting to like hyperventilate.
Okay, so Mike, what are we doing here?
We are actually fulfilling orders that were sent to me through my clientele.
After several days of radio silence, Mike resurfaces in Los Angeles and invites me to his motel room.
Where is my stuff? What happened to that other baggie that I had?
He seems scattered from the start.
Yeah, I am. I get really on nerve, and so I need something to kind of calm me down. So I gotta be high on something every day.
After taking the edge off, Mike agrees to show me how he ships the meth he buys wholesale in Calexico to clients across the country.
You're gonna put the drugs inside the lunchboxes?
Yes. So in the case in point at which they get x-rayed, it's gonna be harder to see what's inside. And because it sounds like the puzzle.
It seems the sheer availability of pure Mexican meth has been a huge part of the drug's resurgence. It's a cheap high, and for a country with a massive addiction problem, that's irresistible, in spite of meth's ugly reputation.
It's more of a taboo because of the stigma behind it.
So why did you let us film with you?
Just because it's not what people think it is. Some of the greatest people that I know use it. Some of the most smartest people that I know use it. If you look at the community as a whole, there's a lot of people that use it in different ways. Can we cut real quick?
Yeah.
No, I'm just starting to like hyperventilate.
Do you want water?
It's a profitable business, but not an easy one for a hardcore user like Mike. And the more time I spend with him, the more I witness the messy reality of his addiction.
Yeah, I'm a hot mess. And it's not getting easier. And I think it's just from the long-term usage of it.
You're getting a call from your mom.
It's okay.
You're not answering?
She wants answers to things that I don't have the answers to right now, so.
Does she know where you are?
Yeah.
Does she know what you're doing?
Yeah. She doesn't like it. Neither does my family. You know, they're worried about me because it's not about the drug usage, but it's more about if anything happens to me.
How scared are you of going to prison?
It's on my mind every day, considering how I have 3 felonies. If anything happens to these packages, it's bye-bye birdie.
I ask Mike about his first experience with meth. He points to a lunchbox that's headed to Key West.
He's the one that got me involved in all of this to begin with. He's my ex-boyfriend. He's the one that tried to keep me away from it, and I just came running towards it. He warned me, he really did.
Does he use it as well?
Yeah, he does.
Is he addicted to meth as well?
Well, I would assume so.
Mike tells me that, like a lot of users, his experience with meth is tied to a hard-partying social scene. In fact, that's why he loves coming to Los Angeles. That night, Mike heads to West Hollywood, the epicenter of gay life in Los Angeles, and fertile grounds for new clients.
How do you sell? Would you go out and look for clients?
One of the biggest ways I made my money was through social media. And the gay community's been like Grindr, Scruff, Adam for Adam, BBRT. These are all avenues for men to meet other men and hook up. And that's where I come in.
Mike can go to any city in the country and within minutes find customers. For gay men looking to hook up and get high, these apps give dealers like Mike an edge. And it's in these gay communities where Mike's personal and business interests converge.
A lot of people, though. Wow.
Yeah, unless this is within a mile radius.
Are you getting requests right now?
Yeah, I get people at the hotel waiting for me.
Waiting for you to sell them meth?
No,
For you to have sex?
Maybe both, who knows? That's all I do all day. It's try to have fun on the side and then go back to work. Now, there's a secret language online. There's a chance that this guy could smoke because of the T, it's capital.
And so T stands for Tina.
Yes, but there's a lot of things that stand for Tina. Anything like a teacup or time for tea, a clock and a little teacup. And you can also do diamonds. And then there's party and play.
Which means what?
Smoke meth and have sex.
Mike tells me sex on meth is almost better than the drug itself.
For a lot of people, it makes them ferociously horny, and then it becomes that sex is always going to be associated with a certain substance. 80% of all my clientele are either before they're going to PMP or during. When I was on here the other night, every freaking guy that hit me up, like, partying. I can't even leave a city block without being bombarded by either requests or people that want PMP.
I've never seen a drug epidemic through the lens of a dating app. But there it is, the new faces of meth, courtesy of a seemingly endless stream of online profiles looking to party.
Why do you think meth is so prevalent in the gay community?
It's larger than the gay community, yes it is, but it doesn't symbol the gay community as a whole. It's a one niche in the gay community, and if you want to see it, log on from 2 to 6 in the morning.
Right.
But you, excuse me, my cognitivity is starting to go out the window. I'll start with one subject and I'll nod out real quick and can start a whole completely different one. It's because my brain's starting to just spark. It's getting tired, I need to go sit down.
It's your mom again, you have to call her at some point.
Yeah. Hola, guapas. I'm still working right now.
Did you find out anything?
I'll be home tomorrow.
You don't even have your plane ticket. How can you tell me that?
I don't know.
I don't want you to tell me something that's not gonna happen.
Okay, I love you. I gotta go, Mom. I gotta go.
Well, you need to tell me.
I don't know, Mom, please.
You always say, Mom, please, but you never get back with me.
Mom, please, I will talk to you.
When?
Mom, I need to get off the phone.
Okay, love you. Bye.
She's so worried about you.
Yeah, I'm tired. I am completely and utterly exhausted. I am gonna leave this car now.
Stay safe. Call your mom back. Bye, Mike. It's sad. It's sad, especially to see his mom calling him, you know, so worried about him and wondering when he's gonna go back home. And she knows full well what he's doing here, too. So as a mother myself, that moment really got to me. He says he wants to quit. He says that in a few months, that's his plan. But as he knows full well himself, it's a really hard drug to quit. He's tried it a few times and he hasn't been successful at it, but we'll see what happens this time.
The current meth epidemic is many things to many people. For a handful of cartel bosses, it's a windfall. For thousands of people who depend on the meth pipeline to make their living, it's a paycheck. And for millions of addicts and their families, it's a curse.
What are you going to be cooking?
Macaroni.
A few weeks later, back in Austin, Mike is cooking dinner with his mom.
Where are your pot holders? Oh, there's your colander, too. You're going to need it.
But she's worried about him. and the conversation quickly turned serious.
Do you believe you have a serious addiction?
Who doesn't have an addiction? Who doesn't have an addiction to something? Mine just seems to be with crystal meth and a lot of other things.
The money.
The money, the interaction.
You know, have you ever thought to yourself, am I hurting people out there?
I don't have a gun to their head. I'm not selling to anyone that hasn't previously used. I don't think moralistically there's anything wrong with what I'm doing.
In my experience, dealers and users always find a way to justify what they're doing. And all too often, it's Mom who pays the price.
I still have hope. One day you're going to put this behind you. I have hope.
Mom, I can't tell you the future because it's not ready
Exactly.
yet.
No, I'm not asking you to tell me your future.
I don't know. My goal is just to live longer than you.
Are you waiting on someone?
Yeah. Well, I'm just gonna step out for a second. I have to meet my buddy outside.